FPS and back and then build another one. It's like in the moment. It's awesome.
They stay on pretty good?
Haven't had a single issue. It's gobby. It's thicker.
Yeah.
So I don't want my hunting arrows. I don't know. I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
If I shoot them out in the desert and stuff and they do well, I don't know. But like to just build one, weigh it, grain weigh it, and then go shoot it through the chronograph, paper tune it, like it's fantastic.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever used is AE Max Bond.
That's it.
Just because it stays put. Like you can't get a vein off.
Really?
Yeah. I always liked the Fire Knock Arrow Vein glue. That stuff was super nice. It's like that. You put it on a shaft and you try to grab it off, you can't rip it off. Like you literally can't.
Yeah.
Like you can pull it as hard as you can and it won't come off.
Like the fletch will break before it comes off.
Yeah.
Unless you're shooting the dial, deal of the day dial today.
Yeah.
I used the AAE too, and
you did? Yeah, but you had it on a wrap.
yeah.
You fletch that straight to carbon, it won't
Did
come
you
off.
put a primer on it first?
Yeah. I have the AAE primer too.
It'll peel off a wrap.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but on the carbon, it's like
Yeah.
And I was just rough up my shaft.
That was the other thing.
I
I quit shooting wraps because I got so sick of stripping the whole wrap to refletch the arrow versus just like 3 or 4 veins. You know, it was just easier to deal with a vein than it was a whole wrap.
Yeah, but if you soaked it for long enough, couldn't you just peel the wrap off and then all the glue, all the
I don't know.
everything comes off, and then you just gotta rough
I
up
mean, you're
the-
soaking in acetone because I don't think long-term soaking with carbon is probably good with acetone.
That's a good point.
Just
Short burst. I do short burst with acetone, but not like a
I
full
use
soak.
that stripper from Easton, I think. It's like strips the
Oh, kind of like a.
fletch and the vein or the wrap and the fletch off.
Might have to invest in that. They look so much better with a wrap, though.
I quit shooting wraps like, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago. I just got sick of dealing with them, putting them on, buying them.
They look so much cooler, though.
I don't know. I'm
Looks
kind of
so
old
much
school
better.
with
Those
the.
ones you posted were pretty cool.
Yeah, those are sick.
Is that your own camo?
No, that's their Adams Precision
Oh, gotcha.
camo. They have their like that Adams Precision Archery. So I originally found them. So I was looking for a bunch of like just different arrow wraps, custom arrow wraps and everything. I was telling Brady. So my wife's half native, so I was looking for like a native design, and I was going to put 2 teal and a white fletch on her because I'm getting her the new lift as well. And I was just going to surprise her with like this bow setup because she wants to get back into it big time this year. So I was looking for custom arrow wraps and found a couple, and then all of a sudden came across Adams Precision, and it's way more than a wrap company. They have a graphics design, like they can do all kinds of custom wraps and all the designs you could even think of.
Are you going to surprise her with that for Christmas?
I told her about it.
I did. I did that one time. It was wildly unpopular.
Really? I broke the surprise. My wife was pumped.
Yeah, I still remember it vividly.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, oh,
What was it? A bow?
yeah, bow, yeah, bow, arrows, the whole 9. Yeah,
I was
because
going
I
to do
thought
that this year too.
this has probably been. Yeah, I mean, this is. I'm just saying. My
Yeah.
wife did not enjoy it.
Well,
It's been
my
probably
wife's-
20 years ago, probably.
She couldn't hunt elk this year because she was so pregnant by that time, and we couldn't go to elevation, all that shit that comes with pregnancy. And so she didn't hunt this year. So she's been nonstop talking about like, I want to get really good at archery elk hunting. Like that's all she kept talking about because it's so fun to do with our kids too. And so I getting her the new lift, and I was going to build her these arrows and all this stuff. I broke the surprise. I couldn't hold it, and she was pumped.
Yeah.
Pumped.
Yeah, I had mine like all custom veins, the whole wraps, the whole 9, custom strings even.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't even go that far.
I put new custom strings on it. It was nice color. The whole thing was all kitted out, and then like the I had it hidden. You know, the whole reveal. I think I did.
Were
like,
you excited about it too?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I think this
Such a
has been
shock.
probably 20 years ago.
Shot to the heart
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
And I think I did the whole, like the fishing line where you like run it through the tree and it's a whole thing, and it was so anticlimactic. It was, it was a humongous bust.
Thanks.
It was like, I think I put I bet I put, just in tuning that bow and setting it up, I bet I put 10 times the arrows that she ever did through it. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember. I can't remember her ever really shooting. I'm sure she did, but
You still have the bow to this day?
no, I sold it. I don't even think it made it a year because I was just like, this is just an anchor. It's just sitting around. I might as well dump it. Yeah,
Might as well sell it and then buy myself.
that's probably what happened.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allegedly that might have
What
happened.
was the decision maker of like that was going to be the Christmas present?
Stupidity? I have no idea. I was just thinking, oh, this would be like something that, I like to do. I do it every day, so maybe she'd get into it. But
Range time dates.
I mean, it was a massive fail. It was an epic fail. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Since then, I just quit buying Christmas presents altogether.
Hey, there's a great excuse for that. Yeah, remember, I don't buy you any Christmas presents because remember that year?
Yeah.
On all that work?
It
and you
was a
didn't like
real
it?
bummer. Yeah. She bought me a bow one year. There's another bow story for Christmas that's coming up. But it was the year that the Matthews LX came out, and she bought me a bow, and Christmas came around, and I was like, oh, it's a bow, because you could, wrapped, you know what a bow case, the box and everything. And I pulled it out, and it was like a 2-year-old model. And I was like,
no.
oh, I'm like, you bought me a Q2. And she was like, yeah, isn't that the one you wanted? And I was like, no.
Did you shoot it?
Huh? No, we returned it.
Returned it?
I
And then
returned
got
it,
the new
yeah.
one?
And then I got the other one, but I had to wait quite a while. And then the same, I did get the LX finally. I was stoked about it, just jacked, And I was going to Utah State at the time, and we lived in a basement apartment. And my neighbor that lived upstairs, he also bow hunted. He kind of got me into bow hunting again. And I was in the basement. I was cooking dinner. He comes downstairs, knocks on the door. My wife lets him in. He comes in. He's all excited to see the LX, right? So he comes in. I'm cooking dinner in the kitchen. I'd never pulled this bow back, and I hear whack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, dry fired it. Yeah, in my living room. I'd never even had that bow pulled back. Not
Did
one
it
time ever.
explode?
I drove to Payson Archery the very next morning, and we pulled the whole thing apart and checked the limbs and everything. Everything seemed okay, and I shot it, and it was fine, but it like tainted it for me.
Yeah, just to know that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
just to know it had
a
been
car
dry
that's been in
fired.
a wreck. It's
Yeah,
like just-
yeah, salvage model.
Yeah, it's like, it's just not.
Yeah,
the
salvage
same.
title on that bow. Yeah, bum me out. Same bow. What a Christmas.
What a Christmas.
Forget that Christmas. Yeah, let's hope this one's better.
Let's hope.
Anyway, yeah, good times. Yeah,
Those are some good bow stories right there.
they are
Hopefully
good. I
that
probably
doesn't
got more of
happen
them
to
if I thought about it. I remember one other time I took my dad to a bow shop. He hadn't shot a compound in ages, and he pulled one off the rack and dry fired it.
me. Oh, God. In the bow shop?
Yeah, the grip, it was like back when they had wood grips on all the Matthews bows,
Yeah.
and I remember the grip split right down the middle. just split right in half, the wood.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
I got a story about young Omar that I was laughing my absolute ass off on the range. We were out shooting in the desert because him and I would meet up in the mornings going into my stone hunt. The elk hunt first, we would shoot together, and then into my stone hunt we were shooting. He met me out in the desert. He, those releases sometimes will get a little gummed up and they won't quite
Fire.
bite fully.
Oh.
Like they'll actually be
like it
the
won't
hook
set.
won't lock. And he came out. I'm like, you didn't bring your bow? He said, no. And he was like kind of shook up a little bit. I go, what? Why'd you come out here then? So I don't want to leave you hanging. If you're going into your hunt, like I wanted to, like yeah, but you're just gonna stare at me while I shoot. Why didn't you bring your bow? And I'm kind of prying. He goes, I was at the bow shop and I drew back. And a scent went into the ceiling, and I guess there was a shoot going on too. Like there's people everywhere.
I've done this. I know exactly.
pulled
I've done this exact same thing.
He pulled back in his release. Come to find out, like he gave it to the pro shop. They took it apart to clean it, and it was all gummed up from the hunts and all the stuff
Yeah.
we had been on, and it didn't fully grab to hold. And halfway through his draw cycle, he's pointed up in the air and lets one rip, and it into the ceiling, like stuck into the ceiling. I go like throwing a pencil in the ceiling, and it just
Yeah.
sticks. It goes, oh yeah, stuck right there. 20 people around.
Yeah, I was shooting leagues one time in Logan on the line. Everybody's shooting, and halfway back, right at the peak, apex of the draw, my the jaws. This is back when I was shooting an index finger, and punched myself right in the mouth. it gave up, split my lip, sent one right into the roof.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. Yeah, the whole line.
That's
Yeah.
one of those embarrassing moments where you probably want to never go back to those pro shops again.
Omar was shook up. He didn't even bring his bow out the next day to shoot with me. He just watched me. Like he was
Yeah.
still so shook up he couldn't shoot it.
Hey man, that makes you gun shy too. Not no pun, but it makes you gun shy.
Yeah.
You're like, you feel a little agitated about
How'd
it.
you shoot the rest of that league night?
Oh, I don't think I did. I think I gave because my release had given up the ghost.
Oh,
It was opened up. Yeah, I did that one time. I was just like really focusing on my shooting. I was shooting a Matthews. What was it? It was an XL model. It was a 37-inch model. It was like when they had the really thin risers. I don't know if you remember that. Super thin limbs. I can't remember the name of that bow. But yeah, really focusing one night, drew back, whack, and I was like, what the hell? And derailed it, and I just not loaded an arrow. And
Just not loaded an arrow.
Just not loaded an arrow. I thought I'd shot. I was like, I don't know, that was really weird. And then it took me a long time. I had to walk down to the target, count the number of arrows I shot, count the number of arrows in my quiver. And I'm like, I didn't shoot an arrow. Like I hadn't loaded an arrow.
Dude, that's focus.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
focused.
I was in the zone. Yeah, just did not load an arrow. So
Probably one of your best shot executions you ever made.
I've never done that since. It's like one of the first things I check. Look down and make sure I've got an arrow loaded. But it happens to people. I think.
Darrell's the only one.
Right.
Right. It happens. You guys have done it, right?
Can't say I've done it, but
You've not loaded an arrow and dry fired your
knock
bow.
on wood.
yeah,
here.
right.
Dude, in that bow, it like torqued the riser. It
Toasted it?
Yeah, because those were super thin riser, thin limbs. Like they were going for light and long.
So since we're throwing our own selves under the bus, I'll throw one for you guys too.
Yeah.
So, not archery, but a rifle. So load my ammo, Night before I'm going to go to the range and go shoot. Getting ready because I want to do like a 3-round, just shoot through the chronograph and get some data and stuff like that. I shoot one, goes off perfectly. I'm getting ready to shoot my second one. Put the round in, go to pull the trigger, nothing happens. And I'm like, oh gosh, what's going on here? Is like a firing pin, bad primer. So I grab it instantly. I'm always, even though I don't have to be worried, but I'm like, this thing is just going to go off on me at any second. So I grab it and like, carefully, like put this one off to the side, go and shoot another one. Click, same thing. So I'm like, what's going on? I grabbed another random round and that one actually fired. So I went home. I'm just like, what's going on with these rounds? I even like called my dad. I was like, this is so weird. Like, what's going on? I'm like, I have a bullet puller. So I'm like, I'm going to pull this thing off and see what's going on. Pulled the bullet off.
No
both of those.
powder?
No powder. No powder.
How did
I'm
you
so
do that?
dialed on everything, and every time I do it, I look in every single case to like make sure there's powder, make sure everything's like set up. Like I do things very dialed.
That's why I'm asking how this happened to you.
I have steps written down that I always reference, even though I know how to do it all the time. And somehow I don't know what I was doing, jamming out some music maybe or something like that in my man cave, and yeah, just 2 of them didn't have any powder. So that made me nervous too.
It does happen.
How many of these don't have powder?
Yeah, so then I was like, what about these other ones? So I'm like, okay, these are not hunting ones at all. These are definitely just, I have to shoot all these, this group to practice now. But yeah. Two in a row.
What if you'd have been on a big muley
I know, right?
and just click?
So since then, now it's like a triple check. Like make sure it's got powder.
Do you weigh the entire thing, like at the end of it?
Not the final.
Have you ever done that?
I mean,
like every round that you load,
I'll
weigh the
weight
whole
sort
thing?
bullets and I'll weight sort brass, but I don't weigh it at the end. But that would be the easy way to cross check everything in a sense.
Yeah.
That'd be your quadruple check.
Quadruple check. Yeah. So
I'm just
that's
running,
my embarrassing
running
moment.
around Brady's head rent free right now. He's like, oh shit, now I got to do
Got
that.
another 2 list on the bottom.
Yep.
Another step.
Another step. I mean, Ethan's
man.
probably got something now. Like we're all throwing each other on the bus.
Yeah, Ethan's here. He's our guest today.
Yeah, Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan, what's your last name? Klein?
Klein.
Klein.
UNLV swimmer, D1 athlete,
Swammer.
swammer.
You were a swimmer?
Yeah.
What
Bro,
what
speedos,
event?
shaved legs, the whole deal.
I was a distance swimmer.
Okay.
So mile, 500, 400 IM.
How long does it take to swim a mile?
My best time was 15, just under 15:30.
There's people who can't run a mile that fast.
Damn.
Yeah.
How many
Cody's racing.
I was just we have my nephew is stayed with us and he swims for Crimson Cliffs in St. George. Shout out Porter. Anyway, he I was asking him about the different events and he was telling me like how the distances and how long it would take and whatnot. And I was thinking about it. I don't think I have been in a pool. Like I don't remember the last time I was in a pool. I don't think I could swim down and back.
Couldn't do 50?
I really don't.
No?
No, I don't think I could.
You can do it.
No. What strokes?
Just freestyle. Well, 400
freestyle.
IM is every stroke. 100 of each stroke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in freestyle, can you just doggy paddle if you want?
It's not going to be very fast.
It's not going to be fast, but it could be.
Did you ever get
You can do
tired
any
and just
stroke in
tread
freestyle.
water
Yeah.
for a minute? You're like, wait,
I've seen someone do it.
really?
Oh yeah.
Take a quick little break?
Wow.
Like tune or fly. That one gets people. Like the 3rd or 4th, 50.
I couldn't
you see people
imagine.
start. Shoot, we were at a conference one year. We had a buddy of mine. He went out just super hot in the first 100 and he was like winning. We're like, holy shit, Joe, like you're gonna do it, man.
You did it.
And he
You just threw Joe under the bus too. Threw out a name.
yeah, Joe Starkweather. No, he's a good buddy of mine. Grew up in Phoenix together. But anyway, you see like the video of him doing it and you're like, oh my gosh, there he goes. And he's getting passed. And then it's the 4th 50 and you're like, he can barely get his arms out of the water. It was
Redlined
funny
way too
watching.
soon.
Wow.
But yeah, you see people all the time like, I'm doing a mile today. They get halfway through. It's a bad race. They'll just get out. And it's
Do you
not the
still
best
swim?
thing to do. Every now and then. I
You
swam
ever-
a bunch this year, like with the wife being pregnant.
Gotcha.
Because that's all like she could do
Mm-hmm.
when she got super pregnant. So we swam a few times a week, but that's about it.
Do you want to do like triathlons or anything like that?
I did.
Oh, you had,
He's an
okay.
Ironmaner.
Yeah.
The full 140.
You did?
Yeah.
When? What one?
2021. I did Arizona.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an Ironmaner.
Yeah. I got into that after I was done swimming in college because I was
Gotcha.
like, I want to still compete doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Your time was pretty good too for your first Ironman. What was
Yeah.
it? 12?
I was 10:30.
10?
Yeah.
Shit, I undercut you.
Yeah,
there
I was
quite a
like
bit.
one spot away from qualifying for Kona. So I had to be like,
Endurance athlete
What?
here.
yeah, 15 minutes faster I would have gone. So
I didn't know you were so tough.
Yeah.
try to be.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason we had you on isn't your swimming ability.
No, I assume not. It's not really applicable to hunting.
You need to tell a story of throwing yourself under the bus here too.
I don't know if I have one applicable to hunting.
Did you jump in the pool without like swim trunks on once on one of your meets? Like
Oh, actually,
Your Speedo on backwards?
well, no, you just, but if you don't tie your suit tight enough,
Comes off.
you dive in and, you know,
Oh.
goes around the ankles a little bit. Yeah.
You had one of those
I've
happen?
done that before. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
on like a meet or just like
No, I think
practice?
I was at practice. but,
Legend.
Like, you know, it's 5 a.m. and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a little tired.
it wasn't at a meet.
No,
If it was at a meet, would you just swim it?
probably. Yeah. Yeah. It's a race.
Buck naked?
Yeah, probably.
Would they disqualify you? That has to be an advantage.
Right?
Maybe it's maybe it's
I
a
don't know.
disadvantage.
Maybe.
You got-
Maybe it is a
You got more
disadvantage.
drag.
Yeah, you
Why would you have more drag?
Some people might,
compressing everything.
some people may have more
Why is he
drag.
going to say it?
Some people may have more than others.
Yeah.
More drag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's a
Never
whole
thought
new-
you'd go there, huh?
This is a whole new world.
Whole new world. man.
Look what I've learned. How long have you worked here?
2.5 years
Okay.
with a couple intermittent breaks with the whole army thing. So
Gotcha. What's your official job title here?
buyer and gear expert.
Buyer
Is it-
for specifically for what?
So I do optics, knives and cutlery, all our nutrition stuff, and then doing more upland. And then I'm trying to grow the muzzleloader category too right now. So
He's definitely the guy for nutrition, being an endurance athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually do pay attention to like who does what here.
a little bit. No, my undergrad was kinesiology.
Do you have a master's degree?
I do.
In what?
Higher education, focused on like college athletics. So being a
Wow.
college athlete, when they're done, they're like, do you have a job? I was like, no. Like, do you want to get paid to go to school? I was like, yeah, again, you know, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I stayed on and as a grad assistant in the athletic department and thought that was the route I wanted to do and work in the NCAA. So I did masters of higher education focused on college athletics, and COVID hit and wasn't really liking where the NCAA was going. So
I can't stand the NCAA.
yeah, that's
Cannot
kind of how
stand
I
them.
ended up here because I finished that and GoHunt was hiring.
What's
and I
your
was like, yeah,
opinion
let's
on
do that.
athletes getting paid? NCAA athletes.
All
college
I think,
athletes.
I
All
think,
about it.
I'm about it.
I think
too.
it's great for the athletes that get FaceTime,
Mm-hmm.
right? So football, basketball, those are the guys that make the money.
swimmers.
When you're a swimmer, you know, like no one
Swimmers
really
are
wants to
making the
pay a
big
swimmer,
bucks.
right? Like
I
Yeah.
mean,
it
you're
opens
Michael
the
Phelps of
door.
college.
Yeah, for sure. But there's thousands of college athletes. How many of them are actually making any money?
It's life.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it's-
sure.
It's just
it opens
entirely
the
life.
door for
Like,
them to then go, hey, I like this supplement.
Yeah. Let me
Right
make
now,
a little bit of money.
right.
off it.
So now they can make a little bit of money. They're not
Yeah.
making the Finley Toyota deals that some people are doing,
Yeah.
but like they can make a little bit of extra money, which is great.
Yeah.
So
That's the
I'm
thing
about it.
with athletics. It's entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So you get paid in entertainment with how popular you are or how good you are, right? However you want to call it. Some people are more popular than they are good, but
Yep.
either way, like if you have the eyeballs, you're going to get paid.
Oh, for sure.
That an athlete is an entertainer. It's just the way it works. So I think it's just an early opportunity for kids to understand, like, okay, this is how it works. If I'm not entertaining and I'm not, well, probably not going to make money here. But if I am,
Yeah.
How
like,
could we
here's-
make swimming more exciting? Should we put sharks in the
Yeah,
pool?
I don't know if you can. Man. It's pretty boring.
Put some crocodiles in
You could
there.
ask my parents how many times they sat through me swimming a bad mile.
I
and
think
it's
Trail's
like,
onto
you
something.
know,
though.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to get you guys paid. Crocs in the
no.
pool, I'd watch that. Don't you
Dude in
think?
the open ocean.
Yeah.
Open water swimming.
Open water swim.
Yeah, that's a big event too. In the
Do you have any
Olympics.
goals for swimming? You ever thought about that? Like, do you have people swimming the English Channel? And
Oh yeah,
yeah.
People do like the Cuba to Florida. That's a big one,
Bro, so many sharks there. You
Yeah.
kidding me?
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't want to do that one.
No.
I would do the Alcatraz one though. Where you go from
Where the great whites live?
No, it's. I guess the problem with that one is the seals and the sea lions or whatever is in there because they like.
You
they'll
realize what eats seals and sea
Yeah,
lions, right?
yeah, but like
Ethan
there's more
does.
seals, more seals and sea lions than sharks in that area. But like when you're swimming out there, they think you're like just something to play with, and so they'll drag you under the water and like trying to play with you, and you're like, I can't breathe here.
I don't belong here.
Yeah,
Learn something new every day.
yeah. But the big one is I think the English Channel over in Europe. It's a big one. So
Yeah.
Still sharks, but less sharks.
less sharks. Yeah.
Yeah.
More English people. Real downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know England real well.
Yeah. I lived there.
Did you?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years.
Oh dang.
Yeah. Yeah, I went on a Mormon mission. You wouldn't know it, but I did.
Spent his mission skating, essentially.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's tough. If you want to go on a Mormon mission, England's not
Oh.
not the jam. It's pretty tough. Good people, but it's just hard to spread
Tough.
the good word.
I went to England. I did the whole backpack Europe thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, after
My
my
God, look
undergrad.
how interesting you are.
I know. I've done a lot.
I didn't know I was going to get all this bonus
Yeah.
content.
My parents are like, instead of like a cool grad gift, they're like, here's X amount of dollars. Like plan your backpacking trip wherever you want to go. Like go see the world a little bit, which is super grateful for.
Yeah.
But-
well, you went to school
That's what
for
your parents
free,
gave you
so-
for graduation?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you recommend it?
100%. I went like 6 weeks, and I went like 10 different countries.
Did you go by yourself?
I was by myself for the first 2 weeks, and then my wife met me over there. Well, now wife.
You were dating?
Yeah, we got engaged over there actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Timed that perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, it worked out.
Dang, man of many talents.
I know.
That was after college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
Gotcha.
was between my undergrad and master's.
Yeah. I saw Frontier Airlines, which is everybody's favorite airline, of course. Of course. I saw they were offering like some deal. I don't know if it's like BS or not, but they're offering like a $4.99 unlimited annual pass. Essentially, yeah.
To certain destinations, though, right?
I
You
think
have to
it's-
only go to certain spots.
I don't know. I'd have to look into it to see, but I thought it might be
Is
a
that
cool,
because they can't sell out a full plane?
maybe. I don't know. I think
Like-
they fly internationally too.
They fly internationally. It's only on certain days, though. So it's like on Tuesdays.
You can go to Lithuania.
You can
Just go land and come back.
anywhere you want for $5
Wow.
total.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know they. I kicked around the idea. I thought, maybe that'd be a good graduation
Maybe I
gift.
should see if they
Just
go to
see the world.
Azerbaijan.
Welcome to Frontier Airlines. Pack light.
Welcome to life. Your
Yeah, well,
adult
yeah.
life.
Have at it.
Live
Yeah.
the hostel experience again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that again, though.
Do you have any good hostel stories?
Yeah.
I heard that in the voice.
Yeah.
I could feel it.
That was
We
before
were,
your
uh,
wife met up with you.
We were in Rome. No, this is no, this is. I had some great hostels like in Iceland and Norway, and like was loving it. And when my wife met up with me, and we went to Rome, and it was like during the middle of a heat wave, which sucked because they don't have AC over there. But we got to this hostel. I've been talking up hostels for like weeks now. Like they're great. You meet interesting people. Like it's so much fun. We get to this hostel in Rome, and it's right by the train station, which we needed because we were going to go to another city and stuff. But there was this feller that was in the room, and older gentleman, like much older gentleman, shirtless, just pretty much butt naked,
Pantless.
hanging out.
It's Europe, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was, but like the smell and sharing this room with this few people was interesting. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But it was a rough one. And then after that, she was like, "I can't believe you sold me on these hostels." I was like, "No, they're all good except for that one." So
So you spent 6 weeks over there?
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Well, good deal. But that's not why, again, not why we
No,
had you on.
no.
But all this
Yeah.
bonus is pretty incredible. The reason I wanted to have you on is because you drew a sheep tag
Yeah.
this year. And do we want to name the state? Do we name the states for
It's a
sheep
sheep.
tags?
You got to name it. It's
Yeah.
a sheep.
I always
There's
got to
not-
defer to Brady.
I feel like there's not a lot of secrets
Brady's
in sheep
the
hunting.
Brady's the police when it comes to what I can say as far as where you are.
99% of the time I say no, but I'll leave it up to you guys on this judgment. He will say later on his home state. So he's going to talk about
It's
it a little
Arizona.
bit. And there's, there's some-
Arizona.
okay, well, let's
Yeah,
go. We'll
it's
go.
Arizona. Yeah.
Gosh, everything I stand for. He just broke my
It's sheep.
one rule.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to pick your brain. I don't know that I'll ever hunt desert sheep. You probably might. Do you have You have points places?
Oh, yeah, I have a pile of points.
And here in Nevada,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that you will. You might even as well,
Yeah.
being a resident. I don't know that I'll ever hunt desert sheep.
But I drew a desert sheep in New Mexico.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Yeah.
So you've already been there. You've done it. Brady,
Just waiting my turn.
negative.
Negative.
So I'll probably never draw a sheep tag. I'm thinking just based on statistics. So I thought it would be interesting to just kind of pick your brain, find out what it's like to hunt sheep, desert sheep, and kind of lean on to both of you.
Mine was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Mine was recently, but
Yeah.
man, it was tough.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's go back to like draw
oh,
the
dude.
tag.
yeah. So drew the tag in June, and I was actually in Georgia for some Army training, and so I guess you got to back up to my
Did you
wife
apply
getting
as a
pregnant.
resident? Are you a resident of Arizona? Do you have a lifetime license?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got the lifetime license before I became a resident here.
Gotcha.
So what that does is put me in the resident pool for
Mm-hmm.
everything, but I still do all the non-resident tag fees and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So
But you have the ability to apply as a resident, which is a nice
Yeah.
little perk of Arizona.
yeah, highly recommended if anyone's moving from
possible.
Arizona.
Or move to
Or
Arizona.
move to
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I put in,
How'd you
my-
decide what to apply for as far as units?
I used our tool, of course.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, right. Sorted it based on draw percentage. So even in Arizona, being a non-resident, it has to have a certain number of tags for them to allocate a non-resident tag. So I think it's more than 2. So it's either the 3 or 4 tag units. So you look at that on the regs, and then I sorted it based on draw odds, and I was just shooting in the wind. You know, I was like 1 through 5 choices, 5 best draw odds.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all I did. So
Because you wanted to try to find one that a random tag offered to you. Because
Yeah.
you didn't draw a max point pool, right?
No.
Yeah.
no, yeah, because I will share that I had 6 points. So
Crazy.
yeah.
Dude,
So
what were your odds?
I'm walking out of here.
1.6
protest.
1 point what?
1.6%
Because you're a resident,
because
yeah.
of the resident
Yeah.
pool. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, always a chance, right?
1.6% on a sheep tag.
Yeah.
That's
But it
crazy.
was 1.6 all the way down my top 5.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah.
Gotcha.
You can't get much more lucky than that in hunting, I think.
So do you remember getting your results?
Yeah.
Where we at?
I was sitting on a
This
bus.
is like one of those moments, you know, like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
JFK died, or like everybody, you know, it's like
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those moments that everybody can
So I was,
they remember where they were at
oh yeah.
when this happened.
I was doing Army training, and I had spent the last 5 days in the field. So no phone or anything like that. And I'm sitting on the bus back to the main post, and I hadn't had my phone in a week, and I was, checking everything. I saw that credit cards were getting hit for deer and elk and everything, or not elk, but deer and sheep and everything. And it's like, I'll just check my credit card statement. What the hell? And I got on there. I was like, oh, there's an Arizona Game and Fish charge for an amount that is more than a deer tag. So it was pretty easy to figure out.
Ouch.
I was like,
Price tag
holy
kind
shit.
of,
Like,
yeah, price tag kind of sting a little bit. No?
I drew a sheep tag.
It's pretty easy to
Yeah.
fade that shock.
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
Mexico's even more expensive.
I
for
think that would
non-residents.
come in waves for me. I'd first be really excited, and then I would be like, ouch.
Yeah. No, it sucked for sure. But
Yeah.
I had a sheep tag.
Sure.
And it was like the only tag I put in for this year.
But you don't know what unit you drew, right? At that time?
No, because then you got to wait a couple weeks for them to post the draw results.
Yeah.
So
that's
I was
a real bummer.
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to be hunting sheep
So-
at some point.
Explain right there. You just touched on that was the only thing you applied for. Explain why. That was the only thing you applied for.
So my wife was pregnant. Found out in March that we'd have a baby in November. And so I was like, I'm gone for 5 months of this year doing Army stuff, and going to miss like 50% of her being pregnant. So I was like, be the good guy, right? Don't
Yeah.
put in for any hunts, except for one. So I did bonus points for literally everything in every state except for sheep, because I was like, there's no way I'm drawing this tag, and I was like, I'll just throw my name in the pool or whatever.
Drew the tag.
Drew the tag.
Which is a phenomenal strategy. Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't think you have time to hunt, you should probably still apply for sheep.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
Why not? Right? Because even if you think you can just do points for everything, you're like, oh, I'll just build my points for sheep. Like, I'm not going to draw 5 points, 6 points. Like, you get a bonus point if you don't draw. Just to just put in
Yeah.
and see what happens. Right? So
I mean, all I'm hearing is that your wife was pregnant and your wife was pregnant and you both went sheep hunting this year. Brady?
I think I know what you need to do, Trail.
I'm done. I don't want to hunt sheep that bad.
It's a good luck charm.
So you're saying I need to find a girlfriend really
Baby
quick.
girl.
Get married really quick. And,
Baby girl. Yep.
And get a
Yeah.
baby going.
Guaranteed
Yeah.
sheep
Yep.
tag.
Guaranteed sheep tag?
Yep.
Due in November, though, so you got to, Valentine's Day.
How does
Really
this
good time.
factor into Go Hunt's draw odds? Do we have like a separate little category for that?
Algorithm.
Yeah.
Brand new this year.
Brand new?
Big new feature.
All right, okay.
Yeah, dude. If
Yeah.
your wife's pregnant, you have a way better
Just
chance
a
of drawing
checkbox.
tags.
Yeah.
Oh, checkbox.
I mean, it's
Wife
100% right here. So
Yeah.
100% draw odds.
How did your wife take the news?
She was a little on the fence at first because I told her I wasn't going to hunt this year.
She wasn't as
And-
excited.
Well, and your baby was due November
He was due
3rd?
November 8th.
8th.
He ended
and
up
your
coming
hunt
November
started.
1st.
I know, but your
Yeah.
baby
he was due the 8th, and then the hunt opened on the 17th. So
That's tight.
it was tight. If you had gone late or anything
But
like
even
that,
having
it
a
would've
kid
been-
and then your kid's only a couple weeks old,
yeah.
potentially. Like
Yeah.
you didn't know at the time, like when it
No.
was gonna be due, but
Yeah.
How did you
Exactly.
break it to her? When did you break it to her?
Oh, I called her that day.
Straight away?
Yeah. Yeah.
was she your first call? Or
She's
did
my
you,
second call.
oh, who'd you call first? To
I
tell the
called my
news?
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's his dream hunt.
Yeah.
So, and luckily he was on the hunt with me.
Oh,
but
that's so badass.
yeah, I called him first. I was like, "Hey, you're never gonna guess," but
Is he ever drawn into sheep tag?
no. Wow. Yeah.
It's crazy how this shit
Incredible.
works. It's
Yeah.
wild.
You talk to people like I think I was talking to Cody Nelson, and he was like, "I've got like 28 points or something like that." And like he's almost there at the max point pool. But I was like, "Yeah, man, I drew sheep tag."
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
get your wife pregnant.
That's
Yeah.
it, Cody. If you're listening, now's your time.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I called my dad first. I was like, "Hey, did you draw a deer tag? You check your credit card?" He's like, "No, I didn't." I was like, "Cool. Well, I drew a sheep tag," and he thought I was messing with him because he's like, "There's no way." So for like probably a week, he thought I was messing with him, but
Then it got real.
then it got real.
Yeah, I remember when you posted it in Slack. I remember thinking, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't believe it either.
Yeah, me either.
I totally thought you were lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, that Ethan, he's a straight liar.
Yeah.
This just proves it.
Yeah. Right.
So when you told her, were you like soft entry?
I
Just
went with
yeah.
like, "Hey, I know I said I wasn't going to hunt this year.
Oh, man.
But
But
I have a once in a lifetime opportunity
oh boy.
if you're interested."
If you're interested.
so you tried to do it like she gets an opinion on it.
No out.
So,
If you're interested. If you're not, I'll turn it back. I swear.
yeah. So, and I told her, I was like, "There's no way I'm turning this back in." And she was like, "All right." Pretty
Have you-
much. She was pretty
You've
cool
never
with it.
used the once in a lifetime line before?
That was the first one. Well,
I
I mean,
got
when we
a
got
story about
married.
that.
So,
I mean, I've used
Yeah.
it many times
I've got a story
when
about
it
that.
wasn't once in a lifetime.
yeah, I've overused that.
Yeah, me
and how
too.
I know that for a fact is I've been with my wife since 2017. And so between 2017 and now 2023, I've used it so much whether it be, this is a once in a lifetime type deer or type elk or once in a lifetime tag. She goes, "How many fucking once in a lifetimes
Yeah.
are there in hunting?"
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess a lot. If you really want to like boil it down to like a once in a lifetime type animal, then all the different species.
Yeah.
I really got in an argument with her about that.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime
So
because
I've
there's good
overused it.
moisture this year. This once in a
Correct.
lifetime
Yeah.
because
I think everybody has. I've used it for sure.
My wife called me out. That's how much I've used it
Yeah.
since 2017.
Yeah. I've been like, I drew this elk tag in Utah, and I
it's
swear
once
this
in a
is like
lifetime.
once in a lifetime type opportunity until like 10 years rolled by. And I'm like,
And it's
oh,
drew it again.
man, look what happened. Yeah. That's fun. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
So,
Did she ever warm up to it? Was she like, oh, that's cool. I kind of get the gist of it.
I don't think so.
Really?
She
Yeah.
might have. I mean,
It's your guys' first kid though too,
Yeah.
and that's different. That
Yeah.
is different because you guys both don't know what to expect.
right. Well, and
Especially her.
she understands what hunting means to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's all I talk about. She probably gets annoyed with how much I talk about it. But so she understood like what it meant. And she was like, "All right, well, we'll make it work." I was like, "That's why I
Yeah.
married you." So, yeah. Yeah.
I remember when she went into labor. Do you remember?
I do, and I remember
we
listening-
were podcasting.
Podcasting,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then I threw you under the bus
I
on
know,
the
I listened
podcast
to that
because your
part.
eyes were this big.
Yeah, you did not look okay.
I thought I was fine.
You didn't look fine.
No, I realized I probably wasn't.
you did not look fine.
Yeah.
You
I
look
thought it was
like you
cool.
just been in a head on.
Well, so we were like, that was the 39-week appointment, and we were like, "Oh yeah, we got another week. We'll be all right." Like I had drill that weekend, and was like, yeah, I'll get through drill and then have a baby and then I'll go sheep hunting. Be great. And we went to that appointment. They're like, no, we're going to have a baby today. We're like,
Yeah.
today?
Okay.
Like now? So they're like, yeah, go eat lunch and go to the hospital. We're like, all right. And I came here, got all my computer and stuff like that. And
If I don't see you, good luck.
Yeah.
That's what you told me. I'm like, no, bro, good luck to you.
Yeah. What was the date?
November 1st,
First. So that's what? How many days before your hunt kicks off?
16. Yeah.
Plenty.
16
Plenty of time.
days.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you got the sheep tag.
You know what's odd to think about?
What?
This is weird. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but now I've got myself in this far. Ethan and I were doing something very similar on a very similar day.
That's true.
It's kind of weird to think
I blame
about.
Cody
Did you
for
guys
that.
high five
actually.
when you came to work the next morning?
Hey, did you?
It's like the red polo.
Yeah.
Polo effect.
the red
The Tiger
polo.
Woods red polo.
Yeah, from Parks and Rec.
How much? So you got the tag in hand. Like, at what point did you start putting a plan together and like put it in
Yeah.
place? And like, where
Well,
did you
so
start?
it's an area that I'd never been to, right? So it's pretty much there's only sheep here in
Can
this
I ask
area.
a question real quick? Which one of your choices did you actually draw?
First
Once you-
choice.
You drew first choice?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because I knew
We'll
it
never
was either
know
gonna
what he
be
could have done.
first
Yeah.
or second choice. Yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
It was first choice, and yeah, I was like, I have never been to this area of the state, and I don't even know where to start because I'm not even I wasn't a sheep hunter
Yeah.
until then either.
Who is
So,
a sheep hunter? There's so few and far between.
Yeah.
No one's a sheep hunter.
Yeah.
Other than the guides.
I don't know, or you get lucky.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just the only one here at the table that hasn't killed a sheep of some sort.
Barberry.
Huh?
Barberry.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Does that count?
Poor man sheep.
Poor man sheep.
I mean, we've
I'd do
talked
it.
privately that they're kind of cooler than some other sheep species.
deserts.
They are looking. They're cool.
They're cooler than the desert.
Dare say that. Deserts are the best.
I mean, they're pretty neat.
Yeah, they are.
The barberries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're baller.
I'm
They're
a
cool
big
looking.
I'm a big advocate for the Barbary sheep. I think
wanna
they ought to
do
be.
that.
I think they ought to be everywhere.
Yeah,
haven't done
you
it
want to
yet.
transplant them everywhere. You want to take over the native habitat of the desert
I
sheep. We
kind
heard
of
you.
they're pretty cool. They are cool.
How do they mitigate that? I know it's a tangent, but like, how do they
I
keep
don't
them
know.
in, New
We've talked
Mexico
about it.
east?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
They don't travel.
I digress.
Yeah.
A lot of different conflicting thoughts, theories. I don't know.
So you don't have any idea, like, what's your first step in putting a plan in place?
Oh, I went straight to scouting. Like, was like, okay, what are the roads? Like, just on the e-scouting on our maps. I was like, all right, there's like one road through this area. And I was like, okay, one road, where's the water? So I was using topo to figure out like where the USGS water sites are, and then going on it was in a national wildlife refuge. So that already gives you different access to, like, they can kind of tell you, a water report. You call the wildlife refuge manager and they tell you like what the herd's doing, like how they are. And
Were they pretty
what the
good to
water-
give you info?
Yeah. So I went to the Arizona Desert Sheep Society Hunters Clinic, which was super cool. Like, they put it on every year for all the the tag drawers, and then
Is that mandatory or optional?
No, optional. Yeah,
Would you recommend it?
100%.
How many people do you think showed up?
There was probably 200. So.
Damn.
But like,
Oh, that
not everyone's a tag holder.
Sure.
Some of them
But
are
still,
like
though.
recent tag holders. Some of them are guides. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of people there. There's a big ballroom in Arizona, in Scottsdale, and I went with my dad, and Cody Nelson met us down there too. So
How do you find? Did you find anybody that had the same tag you had?
yeah.
You
So
did?
I met one person.
How do you find them?
We were both talking to the refuge manager at the same time. They were like,
Gotcha.
"Oh, you got a 45B tag?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a 45B."
Oh, he even threw out the unit.
He did it. I was
He
going
even
to
threw
say
out the unit.
Well,
Here we go.
38
I did
minutes
put it
in.
on my
Noted.
Instagram. So
Oh, you did, huh?
I like the.
Oh, that's it,
When
tag
you do
things,
game
yeah.
and fish, they
Yeah,
got to check
yeah.
it in. They, right on the board.
no
Yeah.
biggie.
Yeah.
It's a sheep.
It's
Yeah, it's a Kofa tag. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so we were talking to the Kofa.
This is your life, not mine.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I will never hunt sheep again in
Yeah.
Arizona. So, but and then actually we had an insider post on our 45B unit profile page saying he drew a tag and if any recommendations. So I got his email and shot him an email. I was like, hey man, like, I drew a tag too. Like,
That's awesome.
so we
actually.
were kind of like pinging each other when we go scouting, and he'd
You
go
didn't
scouting.
big time him, and you're like, I got,
No, 'cause we had-
I got the big ones found, bud.
We
Yeah.
had 2 different seasons.
I'll talk to you after the hunt.
Yeah.
Do you want to know one of my favorite things to do? This situation. This is just generally speaking. So if you run into a guy at a trailhead, or you're out hunting, my first question always like, "How long are you here?"
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, I got 3 or 4 days. I'm like, oh man, I got the whole month. And they're like, really? Yeah, dude, I'm just really lucky. I got the whole month to hunt. Like I'm pretty well here for the next 20 days. So
Yeah.
Trying to scare them away.
yeah.
That's what I figured.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've done that.
That's actually a good little playbook.
I don't do it
right
like that. I'm just like, and usually I do have 10 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not a month, literally, but
there. Month, 10 days, same shit.
sure.
In that situation.
But he was pretty good to like keep
Yeah,
in touch.
because we had two, so they have an early hunt and a late hunt, and I drew the early tag, and he had the late tag. So I wasn't really concerned with him.
So he's looking for more of you.
Yeah.
For benefit.
Oh,
of
yeah, worried
the
about
fisher.
him bird dogging your quail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was cool. I met him at that hunter's clinic too, and I gave him a GOHUNT hat, and
Love it.
yeah. So
Is he from Arizona?
Yeah.
Did he put time in scouting as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually were there. I think the first time I went out, it was August, and that was rough because it's stupid hot. But me and Omar were out there, and we saw him. He was on a quad running down the road, and we were up classing, looking at a U, and like, I wonder if he sees that U over there. And then he kind of backed out, and we never saw him again. But I figured out that was him. So.
So my question I got, since again we're talking about deserts and not many of us have hunted deserts. So how'd you start figuring out like the terrain to look for? Obviously you said you had the area you can call those people on the phone. Did you like try to read a bunch of stuff? Did you pick up any books or any of that? Like learn biology of sheep or?
I did. Yeah. I looked at everything from, all the different subspecies of sheep and like, what are they eating? Like Lorenzo was a huge help because he'd hunted sheep before. He'd tell me
Like maybe what faces to look at.
Yeah. Look for big barrel cactuses, look for, stuff like that.
How tied to water are deserts?
Depends. It depends because all that rock can hold so much water. You've hunted the desert for deer before.
Yeah, but I mean,
And they don't need to water as much as.
That's what I was wondering. Is what's the radius from a water source that you might be able to kind of ping in on
Depends on
deserts?
temperature and rainfall, and
How often do they drink? Do you think?
it's 117 probably every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Mostly
But if it's-
mostly guzzlers in
That's
that
what's
country.
out there. Yeah. Guzzlers, tied to like a windmill or something, like a pump that's pumping it out. But, yeah, I mean, we'd be hiking and all of a sudden you'd be like in this rocky spot and there'd be a pool of water right there. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
that explains that. So
Did you make any this is one thing I want to know, like for my future, if I ever draw one, did you make a public post anywhere saying like, hey, I drew a tag in this unit. Wonder if you guys got any intel? You never went on any Facebook posts or hunting forums or anything?
no, but I did talk to, Eric Hunt from Arizona Desert
Yeah, he's a
Outfitters.
great guy.
He was like probably one of the better sheep guides in that area, if not the best sheep guide in the area. They're the one that killed that monster a couple weeks ago on the governor's tag. So I talked to him a bunch actually. He was super helpful at saying like, hey man, you got to look everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I was like,
Okay.
sweet.
Really narrows it down for me.
What would you do, Trail? If you drew a tag, would you publicly announce like, hey, I'm just looking for intels. I'm not looking for gimmies, but like
I probably
on a
would,
tag that coveted.
I probably would on that. Yeah, just because I would want
Everything.
everything I could possibly glean from it. And anybody that was willing. And like I said, those types of species and tags, they're so rare. I
You're
think,
not really blowing it up. But
yeah, I think people are a lot more likely to share information when it's legit. A once in a lifetime tag.
That's the cool thing. Yeah, that's the cool thing. I noticed that about sheep, like sheep guys or people that are looking at sheep and super obsessed with sheep and stuff like that. They're very willing to help. So I had like probably 4 or 5 people just through the grapevine that got connected with that were like, even the week before the hunt, there was a guy, he's down out of Yuma, and he had a deer tag in that area, and the deer tag was open the week before the sheep tag opened. And so he was out deer hunting, sending me videos of sheep. And I was just like, thanks, man. Like, this is,
That's
and he
cool.
dropped me a waypoint and be like, this is where I saw him at. Like, so the willingness to help for sheep, I think, is way higher than any other species.
Yeah.
So it's a good community.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago for me. I drew that tag in 2012 or 13, one of those, I can't remember. But same thing, like there was no secrets that I came across. The very best thing I did though was call a biologist. That was the first thing I did, and that was the best thing I did. And then from there, I got like very, straightforward black and white information from the biologist, and then from there, I, people talking who had the tag before, or whatever, got a lot of really good information.
Yeah. I was the same way.
No one hid anything. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. The
Kind of makes it like a team sport
Oh, yeah.
almost. Like they're kind of, let me know how you do. Let me
Yeah.
know what you see.
Oh, yeah, for
like this
sure.
is where I saw them, and you're kind of like they become almost like a little support team there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, like we were hunting one particular ram. We didn't end up killing him, but we were pretty much got to the point where we were on like different parts of that area we thought he'd be in, just kind of getting different angles. And while he was on his deer hunt, he was out there looking for sheep again. And it was like, dude, you got like 3 days to fill your tag. Like, go hunt deer. And he's like, no, man. Like,
That's how cool sheep are.
yeah,
Come on, Trail.
yeah,
Did you ask him if he seen any deer?
yeah. He got his brother on a deer
Nice.
a few days before I got there, but he didn't end up filling his tag. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you have like what we were? So if you draw, I mean, draw a sheep tag. Obviously, your expectations. You want to, like any hunt, you want to fill it with the best animal that you can find. But like, did you look at all at like trophy potential for the
Yeah.
unit? Was that? I mean, did you have like what were your expectations like?
Not
going
when I
into
was
it?
putting in for the tag because I figured it's a sheep, like they're all trophies, right? But like there's caliber of trophy for
Sure.
sure. So my biggest goal was killing the oldest ram I could find. That was the only goal I had. It wasn't a number. Wasn't shooting for, like, if you look at our unit profile, I think it's average 155 score, trophy potential 165 or something like that. And I was like, that's great. I want to shoot a Boone and Crockett, book sheep, but like, I just want to kill an old sheep.
Yeah.
That's the only goal I went in with, and which was great for me because then I wasn't tied to the biggest ram in that unit. Like, yeah, it'd be great to turn them up and find them. Hunt, I spent the first 4 days trying to find that sheep and could never do it. But I think it took a lot of pressure off not chasing a number, just chasing the oldest one I could find.
Gotcha.
So
How was your first scouting trip? You said you put some boots on the ground with Omar.
it was hot, and I got my truck stuck like twice.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, which is
And what? Mud?
sand.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So my, old, Toyota Tundra, it's a boat anchor. It's super heavy. And it's all of a sudden you'd be driving on the road and it'd dump into this wash. And you're like, oh, great, I'm in this wash now. And I got to just keep going, keep my speed up. And we got to the spot where you had to turn out and you had to go up this like 4-foot embankment to get out of the wash. And I got halfway up it. And then I started spinning the back end and we were done. And it was 110 degrees and we're out there digging out, and I didn't have any what do they call them, sandboards or anything like that. I was like, because I don't off-road in my truck very often, and I didn't know the roads at all either.
Yeah.
So
Just trying to learn it.
yeah, it was rough.
You
So
learned.
Yeah, at that point we got it dug out, and Omar, because I have no experience driving in snow either, because I'm an Arizona guy. We don't have snow in Arizona unless you're north. And Omar's like, being from the Northwest, he's like, oh, it's like driving in snow. You just got to keep it going. So he actually got in my truck and did the whole pivot out of that wash and drove it straight back up. And
Got to keep it rocking.
yeah, I didn't know that
Rock the
until
boat,
now.
man.
So Omar kind of got me out of that one, and then we kind of never went back with my truck. My dad's got a side by side, so that helped a lot.
Did you see any sheep on that first scouting trip?
Saw one ewe.
What was your thought
was it.
after just seeing one ewe?
I was pumped. I was like,
You're pumped?
right on.
Just
We found an animal immediately
What?
because I knew how hard it would be.
Yeah.
I knew how hard it would be to find animals, and I was like, sweet, we found one ewe. Like, there you go. And then I went 2 scouting trips without seeing a single sheep after that.
Now
And
how
I-
you're feeling?
And I was like, we'll be all right.
Did you have any kind of like you go out and you see one ewe? Was your expectation to see more sheep?
Yeah, I think I can blame Scott for that, Christensen. I went and helped a sheep hunt out here in Nevada
Yeah,
for
there's
his
sheep
father-in-law.
everywhere, right?
And they were literally everywhere. You
Yeah.
couldn't look at one face without seeing a sheep. And I didn't realize that was because it's like the biggest desert sheep herd in the States. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I went into it with expectations of like, anywhere you look, you'll probably see a sheep.
Just look up some steep stuff. Find some cliffs. There'll be some sheep.
No, it was not like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this data point is still true, but few years back, handful of years back, there is more sheep in the state of Nevada than all the other states with desert sheep put together.
Mm-hmm. That's
If
what
you add
I've
up
heard.
all the other states together, they still don't have as many sheep as Nevada.
Yeah,
Crazy.
which is having helped on a sheep hunt in Nevada the year prior. I was like, cool, man. Like,
I know how to do this.
yeah, I can figure this out. I
Had
know what to look for.
people told you don't freak out if you don't see any sheep?
Yeah. Actually, Eric was super helpful with that from one of the guides, and he's like, "Yeah, man, they all dump into that unit after the rut. Like, just keep learning the roads, learning the area, figuring out where you want to go, And then when you get to the hunt, that's when you start finding sheep.
What would their movements be like too in the summer? Like it's 100 and some degrees out. They're probably not moving very much. They're probably very hard to see unless you're in that exact spot.
Yeah.
Right time.
Yeah,
right
it was
place.
mostly in the shade pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
And then they were up at the last part of the day and the first part of the morning, and then they'd dive into some little nook and cranny you couldn't see them in.
Is this like giant canyons, like sheer cliff stuff, or is it like kind of a little rolling?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. It'd be some tight canyons, and then thered be some like long distances of open rollers, and you're glassing like 3 miles away. You have the heat mirage and everything through the binos, and just
So like midday glassing is just, you can't do anything besides for close stuff.
yeah. Midday we were just driving, pretty much just trying to figure out where to go, and it doesn't look like it's a big unit, but like if you start driving it, and it takes you hours to get from one
you're
spot
going
to
so
another because you're just going super slow.
So you then like doing a bunch of recon, like you're marking all these waypoints, axis, and then you're coming back every trip and like kind of reanalyzing it, doing some e-scouting, and maybe looking at places you might have missed
Yeah.
that you were there. And
Yeah, it was. I kind of took it from like a north-south perspective. So like I, scouted hard north, and eventually like kept going further south. So because there's different axes, you could access it from the north, or you could come in from the south and access it. So my last scouting trip, we went in from the south and did the whole southern part of the unit, and that's when we started like seeing a lot of sheep in that area, and we're like, okay, this is the area we want to target. So we ended up just being like, okay, this is where we've seen the most density of sheep. We're going to start here for the hunt, because where there's sheep, there's probably a big sheep. So that's kind of how we went into it.
could that be still like maybe time of year you're scouting? Like what if you scouted the north during that time of year? Maybe there would have been some sheep, because was it a little cooler then, or still brutally hot?
It was much cooler, because I went twice in August, once in September, twice in October, and then the hunt. So
Yeah, because I'm just trying to figure out, like, is there differences of temperature and where the sheep are going to be at? And then obviously they're not moving much, where then later in the year it gets cooler, it might be moving more, or they just maybe not move much at all.
I think they moved more in October, because that's when we started to move more too. We would get off the road and actually hike, because it wasn't 90 degrees at 7 a.m. So we could actually move a little bit more, get one canyon over off the road where we could start looking more. So that's when we started seeing more sheep, is when we started getting off the road. So
How many rams did you see before opening day? Do you think? Had you seen one
4.
Had you seen one that you were like, yeah, that's the one?
Nope.
No.
Other than in a video.
Yeah, he would always come back and show videos of rams, and they were all like good rams. See, this is why you need to move to Vegas. You could be a part of all this stuff. So, like we were all a part of this.
We were all part of it.
That's modern technology. You can just send that my way. It'll
No,
be there.
I'm not gonna send it,
like,
because
then
you're
we
going
don't
to
get like
forward
the
it.
facial
It'll
expression.
be there in a blink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's
And
not
then I can record my reaction.
it's in that
I
back.
can do a YouTube video on it. Reaction video. That's a thing. I got kids.
Reaction videos.
Reaction videos, like an unboxing, and then I'll send it back to you. Like, whoa, Ethan.
That's the one, right?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
No, he reported back. You had a lot of like good rams.
Yeah.
But nothing that was like,
Wow.
yep, that's it.
Yeah.
The no brainer.
A lot of like
that cliche no
class 3 young class 3, class 2 rams that like, if you're on day 20 of a 21-day hunt, that might be the one you take, but nothing that was like.
But right before he left, the deer hunter sent a video.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was
Had seen a sheep?
absolute
That was the one we were hunting
no-brainer.
for like 4 days.
No brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. Comes to find out through another person that he was hunting the tag last year. They were hunting that same sheep for the whole entire hunt and never killed it. either.
Last year?
Last year. Yeah. Yeah. So that sheep is well known, and
Does he have a name?
Tank.
Huh?
Tank.
Tank.
Tank was
Gotcha.
his name.
I knew he had a name.
According
Yeah.
to
Gotta have a name.
3 different people, they all called him Tank. I was like, all right, cool. So that's Tank. But they just disappear, which is crazy, because like they had him in one part of the unit going up to the hunt, and then no one saw him for a month until he saw him a week before the hunt, and he was the first person to have seen him, because they're all in a tight knit community. They all
And
know
that
each other,
the name
right?
Tank from the video I saw, the name Tank is very fitting.
Do you have any idea how many miles he was from where they first saw him?
Yeah, he was. He had moved south into the area that I was hunting, which was
Gotcha.
great. But I think it ended up being probably 15 miles from where they was.
That's
Maybe,
a lot.
Went on a
yeah,
walkabout.
maybe 10 or 15 miles.
Walk
Yeah.
about. Cover some country. Check some shit out.
But we never turned him up.
Probably went back. I don't know.
Might have
I'm
gone
just-
back. I thought he was probably
just
going
saying.
back.
But yeah,
we were planning on going back to where he had been known to be the next day after. If I hadn't killed that night,
Yeah.
we were going back there the next day, up further north.
yeah.
So
Well, we did film this. So you want to do like a recap on the hunt itself?
yeah,
Let's like just start.
start
and
from
we'll
the
just-
beginning.
Yeah.
I want to know. So you get down there. It's the night before the opener, and then what time did you get up? Well, opening day.
I got up earlier than my dad and Nate did because I didn't sleep well that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What was your level of excitement?
I was freaking pumped, man.
Really?
Except it was raining, so that sucked. And I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do in the rain. But the rain broke, so I was like, maybe they're up and moving now.
Did you think about sleeping in that morning because of the rain?
No, I was too pumped.
No chance you're going to
No,
sleep in.
yeah, there was no chance. But I did think about how it might suck to climb some of the rocks we had to climb to get to our glassing spot. They're gonna be slick,
Right.
but I was still gonna go. Yeah, there's no chance I was sleeping in that first morning out of the rain.
I would have
So-
slept in.
You think?
No, just kidding.
Yeah, no way.
No chance.
No,
No.
and like if I don't know if anyone knows me, I'm pretty much down to hike any ridge, any mountain that you put in front of me. So I
you're-
was like, I was going no matter
So who's
what.
who's with you?
It was me and my dad and Nate, our camera guy. That was it. So a pretty small crew, but
Gotcha.
At least you got your dad to go with you on a sheep hunt. When I drew
Yeah.
my tag, I couldn't get anyone. I got cousins and uncles and brothers and dads and
no one.
no one.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Went with
pretty.
the guy through Instagram.
It was not a tough sell to get him on that hunt.
Yeah.
He was
I
pretty
had
pumped.
I had a friend on Instagram that I'd talked to named Vince, and never met each other. Just had talked. He's from Northern Nevada, and just through hunting and some of the pictures he would post and I would post or whatever back when Instagram was actually like cool and you could meet good people. We were sharing. He knew of some of the animals and I knew of some of the animals, and we just started like DM talking. Couldn't get anybody to go on the sheep hunt with me, so I DM him like, hey, he owned a rock quarry up north. Like, hey, if there's any chance you can get off, like I'm going sheep hunting. I know he posted a bunch of pictures of sheep. That's how him and I kind of connected on Instagram. Picked him up from airport here in Vegas.
Yeah.
12-hour car drive. First time I ever met him on a sheep hunt.
That's cool.
So you're a step
good-
ahead of me.
yeah.
Step ahead of me getting
Yeah.
your dad to go with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You believe that shit?
Yeah.
Not a single
No
person to
one-
go with me.
Damn.
What caliber rifle did you pick?
6.5 PRC. Yeah, I was shooting the Browning Speed long range rifle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we went to the range
6.5.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
was
shot way more than when like the times that we went together, but I'm sure you went multiple more times and
I mean,
validating everything.
I did at the Brady Miller school, right? So you go and you shoot one round and you leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was it. I would go and I'd hit up Adam, be like, hey, dude, you going to the range this week? He's like, yeah, I'm going here. I was like, all right, cool. I'd, go pay. I'm not a member at that range. So
$10
I'd go
every time you go.
Pay the $10 and shoot one bullet. And it was good to go. Maybe we would shoot two just for fun and
Walk
throw
away.
that rifle and that,
Yeah.
get
You
another
always
one out
hope you
to
only need
mess
one
around
shot.
with.
Like I always say, potentially needs
You don't want to
one
waste the
shot.
good shots of the range.
Yeah.
So if it's things are dialed and it's one, that's good
Yeah.
practice because you hope the hunting it just goes
And
perfectly.
luckily I was shooting at a distance further than I wanted to hunt at,
Yep.
but it ended up coming down to being just below that distance is when I had to make a shot because that was the circumstance I was handed.
Yeah.
So
What kind of scope did you throw on there?
I had a Leupold VX6. I had the 4 to 22. Yeah. Or no, 4 to 24 VX6, 4 to 24
Yeah.
by 52. And yeah, that scope was great. So yeah, it was great.
Ballistically, everything was dialed. Everything synced in your rangefinder.
Yeah.
Did Brady help you? Or did Adam?
We chronoed it once. Just to
Adam's
see-
pretty dialed too.
Yeah.
Adam's turned into quite the nerd
He's dialed.
when it comes. I mean, a bigger nerd. Sorry,
Yeah.
Adam.
I got him into reloading and then he's jumped off
Oh,
the deep
he's
end.
Yeah. Yeah, we chronoed it once to see if the velocity matched the velocity on the box because I don't reload. I actually
Yeah.
like being able to shoot factory ammo really well. So I was shooting the ELDX bullets.
Brady, is
and-
there such thing as shooting factory ammo really well?
You're
And a
trying to
6.5
get me in
PRC.
trouble with the internet?
I mean, is it really well or just well?
Just well.
There's levels.
There's levels for sure. Yeah.
really
It-
well for me.
There's levels, especially when it comes to distance, and you just never know if one's going to be shoots high, one's going to shoot low. What's that extreme spread like on a factory box?
Yeah.
You could be consistent for a long time. All of a sudden, you get that one.
Yeah.
That one could just be faster or slower, and that could be the one you're grabbing and putting in your rifle to shoot an animal. And that's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
Is there lot numbers too that go into it, right?
Yeah, like if I was trying to go buy a box, like
You will know
I would
if
buy them all, try to get the same lot
Right.
because then they're probably made right at that same time. If you go buy a box now, go 4 months later and buy another box, like,
But at least you know it'll have powder in it.
do you though? Do you though? Do you though?
Yeah.
Boom.
Got him.
Got him.
It should,
Boom roasted.
right?
Yep. What's your optic setup going to be on the
What's
front?
that?
What's your optic setup looking like for
So
glass?
I ran the 6 Hour Zulu 6. We've been
Yes.
hyping up forever.
Yes.
And they were phenomenal.
Which power?
16s. For
Oh,
that
man.
country, open desert, yeah, I did 16s. Because it was, and they were great. My one, setback for them is you can only hold your hands like this for so long before
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, oh, I'm tired, where they're not on a tripod in front of you.
Yeah.
So I would set up my tripod to where it was like I could rest my elbows on it and then glass like that.
So I never talked about this technique. I tried to get Lampers to do a video of me, but it works really well. So you take 2 trekking poles, put them like underneath you, like
Here,
at your
under.
right at your armpits, and then you can rest your arms right on it,
Oh.
and then you can really like it's even more stable. And your arms are really comfortable than while
Yeah.
you're sitting there glassing. So you can like dig your trekking poles in and just rest your arms on
Yeah.
it. You're like your wings and your arms.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good.
Works really well.
Yeah,
Should have asked him before.
I know, right? I was actually using the. We're allowed to talk about the rifle case that I guess it's gonna be on a video that we're developing that Kevin's working on.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
So,
Leak
like-
it. Leak it.
yeah.
Oh,
so
we're leaking
I guess
things.
it's
We
our
leak
own-
units.
it's
We
our own
leak
product.
all,
shit.
all the
Jeez.
secretive stuff.
I listened
like,
to
I
the
don't
Super
understand.
leaky.
when you had Jerry in here.
We're super leaky
Yeah.
in this company, and I'm all for it.
Anyway, so
Drain the swamps.
we had like that strap that like connects to your rifle. So I would put my arm on that
that?
strap, and it tested the weight really well.
Yeah.
And I would just rest my arm like that and glass with one hand because those things are so light. So that was
Yeah.
my binocular setup. And then I had a Kilo 5K rangefinder. And then for spotter, I carried the Koa 99.
How is that spotter?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bright too, right?
It's super bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were looking, especially when you're looking like 3 miles away at a face. Yeah, you're not supposed to glass with your spotter, but 3 miles is 3 miles, and a 16 power is not cutting it when it's
Yeah.
pretty hot out too. So that thing was great, and it was a little heavy for sure, but it's not
Optics
like
help you kill, man.
yeah,
It's
it's not a
worth it.
BTX 115, that's for sure. But it definitely, that thing was crystal clear. It's probably one of my favorite spotters that we have in the shop. So
If you did 2 Ironmans, you might have been able to carry the BTX
probably
115.
Yeah, I'm not. That
But you only
good.
did one.
I'm not that good.
Yeah, yeah.
Tripod? Did you go with the heavyweight setup or a lighter weight setup?
Lighter. Yeah, I did the whole Tricer setup.
Nice.
So I had the Tricer AD with the LP panhead, which that thing, it's a little light for carrying that big of a spotter. Like it's a little, when you're trying to move the
Like
pan
probably
and
on the
everything.
pan head, maybe?
Yeah, it's a little light. So there's a little bit of play in the spotter and trying to get it balanced and everything. But it overall performed really well. So I think that total weight on the tripod and head is 33 ounces or something like that.
Is it the LD, the bigger one?
The what?
The bigger tripod?
Yeah, the
I
80.
think we weighed mine was 2.34 pounds
Yeah.
with the head and everything.
Yeah.
Super light.
Yeah. That's my favorite tripod right now too in the shop. Like I don't think there's anything that beats it with how light it is too.
Would you like the
I
leg
agree.
configuration?
The legs is my favorite part
Yeah.
just because it's inverse of what every other tripod on the market is.
But it's inverse for a reason.
Yeah.
Thicker legs on the bottom. Like
Makes
makes
sense.
all the sense in the world.
Yeah. Can't
Just
believe
that
no
little
one's done
flip.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just that little flip.
Every company should have done
The
that.
more
Yeah.
stable legs on the bottom.
Yeah.
Closer to the ground.
Yeah,
Makes all the
Drew-
sense in the world.
Drew figured it out. And we're selling them like crazy too.
Yeah, we are.
So yeah, I think we were thinking we'd sell like maybe 100 pan heads this year, and we've surpassed that.
I
Blew past that
I
in,
remember
like, the
when
first
we,
month.
when we
Yeah.
first opened the gear shop, I was blown away with the number of just tripods we sold, tripods and tripod heads.
We sell the shit out of
A
them.
lot of tripods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Sig came along with some image stabilizing binos.
Now we're selling a ton of those.
Sig
too.
and the Tricer. Like those are the two
Yeah.
like full
Hot
blown
ones.
change it up this
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So- Take us through the first day.
Yeah, let's do a hunt recap.
Yeah.
All right. So first day.
Get detailed, man. We want to know it all.
Yeah. First day we hiked into a spot and we were in the center of like the area that we wanted to look at. And it just rained. And so we were like, okay, rain broke. It rained all day the day before. Not all day, but off and on the day before. we're like, okay, animals are going to want to get up and move. They've been bedded probably for a day. They're going to want to feed and everything. And so like, this would probably be a good day to see some sheep. And I think we saw one sheep that day in the morning at like, or no, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We were about ready to move spots and be like, all right, we haven't seen anything. Let's get another angle on it. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, I got one, just up and feeding. And we're like, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He's at the top of the range we were looking at. We're like, great.
Ram?
Yeah, ram. Yeah, we actually saw more rams than ewes the entire hunt, which is cool. But yeah, at the top of this thing, we're like, okay, is he worth going after? No, he's not the one. We're like, okay, let's just watch and see what he does. See what they're, what he's doing to see what other sheep would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched him for the rest of the day pretty much. And that was pretty much day one. And then we went an alternate route back to the side-by-side, and we ended up on like this cliff face, and it's dark at this point, so you can't.
God.
You're using the topo. I was using topo to figure out, but I think what any topo
Hybrid.
lacks to do.
You're like, these lines are getting really close.
Well, it wasn't though. That's the thing. I think what any topo fails to do is show you micro terrain. So it tells you general slope of what it is, but you don't see that fine micro terrain of like, there's a cliff here, and it's shale rock, so it's not like a rocky cliff. Like you can look at rocks on satellite imagery. It's shale rock, and you're like, well, we can't go back, so we're going forward.
You're going forward.
Yeah. So
Is this descending down or going up?
we were trying to get down into a wash to walk the wash out, and
Going down is so much scarier than going up.
it sucks. And so we kind of just slid down this wash, and then we got in the wash, and what you don't see in washes is when there's a 10-foot drop in front of you. And so you're like, oh, great. And so we had to back out, and it sucked because that was the first day, and we're already like, we should have been back to the side-by-side an hour ago if we just went the way that we came up. But no, we wanted to try to make it shorter.
Yeah.
And
Shortcuts, man, they always work.
they always work, right?
Ask Omar. We took a shortcut on the way into New Mexico. They always work.
Yeah.
I always like to say in those situations, I was telling my brother this when we were hunting on our family hunt the other week, like, go with what you know, always.
Yeah.
Like, we always want to talk about those shortcuts, and like, it looks like it makes sense.
Yeah.
You think you know what you're doing, but literally go with what you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
because we
to.
knew like on the way we go out, we have to go up one, down one, up one, and then we're there. Whereas like if we go around it,
Yeah, it
we
looks
just stay
nice.
on the spot, and then we just go down once and we're there. But no, that was not the
They
route
always
we
work.
should have gone.
Yeah.
So
I always take the shortcut.
it's always worth trying, and it's always worth trying in the dark.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
Only in the dark.
Yeah. So
No other option.
So what kind of camp setup then are you going back to?
So we had our base camp set up where the trucks and the side-by-side was parked, and we had like the seek outside courthouse, which was great little setup. You got pretty much like a teepee. You got 2 poles and you stake it out, and it fits. We had 3 cots and a table in there, and it was perfect.
It's a sil nylon
Yeah.
wall tent.
Yeah.
So you're basically camping with all the scorpions and spiders
Yeah,
and
pretty
snakes.
much. There's no floor. That was cool. So
That's the only thing I'm ever
Do you have any
concerned about.
scorpions
It's
and
the
spiders in
desert.
there?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scorpion. We had a small little scorpion one night, but I don't know. It doesn't really. Scorpions don't really freak me out as much as spiders do. I don't like spiders. We had a tarantula like walking across us in the trench, or in the trench we're a trench like, but in the wash. It was a good sized tarantula. Nate got it on video. It's pretty funny.
Huh.
But
No, thanks.
yeah,
You didn't bring it home with you as a pet?
no, I didn't think that would go over.
Missed opportunity.
I got a
Missed
baby at home.
opportunity.
I
Home
can't
Alone,
bring a
man. He
spider.
used it to
Yeah, that's right.
fend off a bunch of robbers.
Yeah, Buzz. I'm in
Yeah.
your room.
Yeah.
Yeah, come out and stop me. I love that movie. That's a great
I'm
movie.
surprised how well you know that.
Oh, I know.
My
I've-
son's,
I know.
my son's very into Home Alone right now.
Oh, it's a fantastic
Love it.
movie.
It's great.
Yeah, you just
Sticky,
gotta.
sticky hands robbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Wet
yes.
Bandits.
The
man.
sticky. Oh yeah, the wet bandits.
Wet Bandits first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's day 1, day 2.
Day 2.
Different area, or stick
No,
with
we
the same area?
we stuck in the same area. We were like, we've seen the most amount of sheep here. Let's let it ride. We know that there's a big one seen within a week in this area.
You see any other people?
No, nobody, which is pretty cool.
How many tags were there?
3,
Oh, yeah.
but the deer hunt was still going at that time too. But the deer weren't in the same area as the sheep generally.
Yeah.
Right, we did. I actually took a cool video of a young ram with some does on the day we were scouting out there, like on the same plane.
That's cool.
Like in the same shot. I was like, well, you don't see that often. A couple
Yeah,
mule
that's
deer.
really cool.
But yeah, day 2, we went to the same spot, and we were like, yeah, this is nice. This is cool. And then Didn't see anything that morning. So we backed out, went and had breakfast at the camp, and then we were loading up to do a spike camp. So we were going to load up and drive around the entire unit and set up a spike camp where we just did, 2-person tents. I had a bivy sack, and we had, cooler full of water and a can of gas. And then we were doing like peak refuel meals. And we were just going to hunt out of the spike camp for the next like 4 days. And so we get there and we go to the spot that you could glass really well from, in north, south, like everywhere. You could see everything, which is pretty nice. And didn't see a single thing for like the majority of the hunt. And then when you're doing a filmed hunt, you do like the end of the day recap. And Nate was like, all right, we've glassed this whole thing. There's nothing near us. And let's just do it now with a cool sunset. I was like, all right, yeah, we'll knock it out and, see how it goes. So we finished that, and not 10 seconds later, I hear a rock kick. I'm like, oh shit,
What day is this? Day 3?
Day 2.
Day 2.
The
Okay.
afternoon of day, like
Gotcha.
evening of day 2.
Okay.
And we hear a rock kick, and my dad's glassing the backside of this, and me and Nate were sitting there, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, there's a big ram there. And I put my binos up, and that's the great thing about SIG. You get it so quick. Your target acquisition is immediate.
And just your detail acquisition too. It's like you can pick up exactly what it is right there in the moment.
And you pick it up, and you're like, and he had the tank that we were looking for, had this very distinctive chip out of his left horn. And I saw that chip, and I was like, oh, it's him. It's game on. It's him. And he had me pegged. So I was like,
Was he close?
330 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because he had just come out of the canyon and was in front of us. So we were talking, doing the recap, and that kicked him out of the canyon in front of us.
So that might have been a good thing.
Might have been a good thing, except I was scrambling now.
It's the only time ever a camera guy helped you out.
Yeah,
right.
The only time.
But I'm
Just
sitting,
kidding, Luke.
This is a lesson to me. If you're going to move 10 yards away from your rifle to glass in a better spot, you should just bring your rifle with you. And so my rifle was up by Nate. I go, Nate, and I think he gets this on camera, but you can tell him like kind of panicking, like, get the rifle, get the rifle, get the rifle. And he's like moving slow, hands me the rifle, and like we're trying to get set up. I've already got him digiscoped at this point because it was so close I could find him easily.
Yeah.
Is he moving away or just looking at you?
He's looking at us, moving away, looking back at us, and he's like kind of unsure of what's going on, but he's not really sure. And so I'm making a bunch of noise, and like it's that jitters, that's like the first like big ram.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was the one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
everybody's like going all over everybody.
yeah. And I have the like full intention of killing this ram.
You didn't say everybody just sit down.
That's we had so many people comment on that on
Really?
Porter's hunt. Yeah, it's like it's one of those moments where me and you were sitting up top. Me and Trail were sitting up top glassing to try to see what buck it was. But we had so many people with us and a camera guy. Trail just on camera, dead serious, like little grizzle in your voice. Everyone just sits still.
Nobody moved.
Because people get antsy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, you start moving around, you start,
Yeah.
you're antsy, or everybody gets anxious.
Looking back, if we had not moved as much as we did, we probably had more time to take a shot. But I'm glad I didn't, because we filmed it, and I trying to get the rifle set, chamber around to get everything going, and like trying to get comfortable. I couldn't get comfortable. Like there's not a good spot to lay down and shoot prone. The digiscope was set up on the tripod, so I didn't have the clamp to shoot off the tripod. It was just not great, right? And we're trying to get it done, and he bumps over the ridge, and because we're moving so much, he kind of spooks and gets away. But had we just sat there, done nothing, he might have just hung out in there. We could have moved a little slower. We had plenty of time. There was no rush, and it just.
So he got away.
Yeah.
Is that tank? No, okay.
No, so that was great. That was the good thing, is that we went back and watched the video, and we're like, oh, he got the same chip, and he's good. He's a good ram. Like we're shooting,
wasn't tank.
But it wasn't the one.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because in the moment, you're probably hyped up and thought it
I
was
thought
one,
for
and you would have
sure.
shot it.
I was like, 100%. And had I shot that ram and gotten up there, he was a great ram.
Yeah.
I don't think he was as big as the one I ended up killing, but like mature ram, totally something you would have been proud of. But it wasn't the one.
Yeah.
Right. So
You can fall in love with the one. I mean, it can. Yeah, that's a hard part of it.
Yeah, so that happened. That was exciting. And that whole night we're like watching that video back, and like, and at 300 yards, you get great footage, and he was just all the turns and everything, get every angle. We're trying to age him, like all this stuff. And we're like, okay, he's like a 7-year-old ram and really good, but he needs a year or 2 years to really mature out.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that was day 2. It was a little bump of excitement, but
Those are the best when you go back to camp that night after something like that, and you're all sit around. You were spiked out, right? So you just did freeze dried meals, and you just sit around and you're looking
kind of
at
buzzing a little bit.
Yeah, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
You're looking at footage. You're
Yeah.
talking to your buddy. What do you think? What do you think?
and we had
and
packed a
then
couple silver bullets too.
Oh, you-
just stowed away.
Yeah,
you
here
know?
we go.
Oh.
Yeah, we had
Hunting werewolves.
We had to like kind of we like ration it like 2 per night per person.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You know, but yeah, it was fun that night to like look at it. And when we realized it wasn't the one, we're like, all right, cool. What are we gonna do? Do we want to go chase that ram? Do we want to stick it out and keep hunting the one?
This is another cool thing though about like the importance of digiscoping.
Oh yeah.
Like it on a hunt like that, or any hunt for that matter, like being able to go back and review the footage to really see what the animal is. Yeah, I'm not just saying it's a trophy hunting thing or anything like that, but it's like it helped you guys.
Oh yeah,
it was beneficial.
Had we
back.
not, I would have spent the whole time thinking that was the one,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would have been spinning
You'd
your
be spending
wheels
all your
right
time
there.
right there.
Yeah.
trying to hunt that one at
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
point
maybe when
too.
you turn them up again,
Right.
you should burn in days now.
Right. So then we ended up for day 3. We decided we were going to go to a different spot, still in the same area, but another angle, another peak kind of thing. And so we did that in the morning. It was a short hike from the spike camp, which was nice. We didn't have to drive anywhere because we're kind of hunting in a spot where there could be sheep on any corner. And so we're trying to keep a lower profile. And we get up to the spot. We didn't see anything that morning, and we were going to hike back to this, they call it the back cut or whatever you want to call it. That was pretty far away. And we actually saw a ram up there flop over. We're like, okay, sweet. We checked the weather. We knew the wind was going to start that afternoon. So like, okay, let's get back there and see if we can't turn up this ram. So we, hike our way back there. And that was when I was texting you and sending you that video of that ram just sitting out. So we're, middle of day 3. And he was a good ram.
Yeah.
Like,
Solid young ram.
yeah. And he was also in a spot that was like the top of the unit, the highest elevation you could get in the entire unit, which was
Where
would've
sheep go.
sucked. Yeah, where sheep go, but would have sucked to try to get up to make a shot, to get them down, all that kind of stuff. And we were watching the sheep, and all of a sudden the wind kicks up, and it's 25-mile-an-hour winds through this canyon, and we're like, I don't even even if I can get to 300 yards, I don't know if I can shoot in 20-mile-an-hour winds. Like, we have to get to like 200 yards because of that drift on that bullet. It's going to be so crazy. And
be a lot less than a 300 rum, right?
yeah, right. That's that 6.5 PRC. You get a little more wind drift in
Yeah,
there.
that was not to jump into mine, but that was the nervous part about when I shot my Marco Polo.
Yeah, I remember
So it was
you
like
telling me
25,
that.
27 mile an hour
Crosswind.
wind,
Yeah.
straight crosswind.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of time to sit there and taking the Kester out and dialing it in and everything. But like, it's nerve wracking because every animal is nerve wracking.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like when you're shooting at a sheep,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more
Because
pressure.
once you shoot, it's like, if you wound it,
yeah,
that's your
it's
sheep. That's it. So,
It's a horrible feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is this the same sheep from the night before?
No, we went
Different
down to a
one.
different area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is great because we were seeing rams. Like, we
Yeah,
saw
you're
rams.
on sheep now.
Great. Yeah. So we're like pretty much, we were in sheep every day until that wind hit.
Yeah.
And so we were watching that ram, and, we were like, do we want to go after that ram? It's mature for sure. It's young, but it's only day 3, going back and forth. And we had time. We were watching it at like 900 yards, and he was just bedded, hanging out. So we had no rush or anything. And my dad made the comment. He's like, well, you got a really cool wife at home. You got a newborn baby. If you want to go kill that sheep, let's go kill it. I have nothing wrong with you, like, trying to go kill a sheep and get home. Like, that's nothing bad about that. And he's like, or we can pass and we can go hunt that ram. And that's pretty much exactly what you said. You're like, give that ram another 2 days of looking for him.
Yeah.
Which is what we hiked out. We ended up, like, all right, let's get out of here. The wind's nuts, and let's go out. And
That's one of my regrets on my sheep hunt is, so at the time I was working 2 jobs. It was like at the very start of Go Hunt, when mornings and nights were Go Hunt, trying to figure it out, trying to get it started, trying to figure out what we were going to do. And I had a day job in the gaming industry, not like video games, but like gambling gaming. So I had 2 jobs at the time, and had an ex-wife at the time, and it was one of those things where I did kind of rush it to come home. Like I had a sheep tag, but the whole time I need to get home, work, I need to get home, family, I need to get home. That was like in my mind the whole time. It's a sheep tag.
Yeah. It's tough,
Put-
man.
Like
Like
it's a sheep tag. Just put the days in.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have it again.
it kept coming
Once
up.
in a lifetime trail.
Right.
You don't get
Not-
back.
Not
Yeah.
gonna have it again. But like I did rush it. I rushed it a little bit. So I
Yeah.
told you, I'm like, dude, just take the
Just
time.
hanging out.
Take the
Yeah,
days.
Just do it. Because it was the week before Thanksgiving. So like nothing's going on really during Thanksgiving. Like I got all my stuff set for Black Friday for the shop and I was pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
And, but at that back in the back of my head, I was like, you know, my wife's family, they were up there for the first couple of days and they went back. I was like, all right, my wife's alone now with a newborn, with a 2-week-old.
Yeah.
It sucks. You know, it's in the back of your head.
But you got a sheep tag, man.
But you got a sheep tag. Yeah.
Were you texting her throughout the hunt then?
Yeah,
too?
I
Like,
had my
let her know, like
inReach.
I passed a ram, and would she like?
No, you
why are you
definitely don't
passing
let them
her?
know that.
no, it's-
No, I told her that we had seen sheep,
Seen she,
But
but
not-
but
yeah.
didn't, but not the one, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that we're gonna keep hunting. And she'd always say, the text I got that day when we were actually looking at that ram was, "Take your time." And she sent me that text on the inReach, and I was like,
okay.
that's cool.
that was like,
That's why you married
that's why
her.
I married her.
Yeah, 100%.
So when I got that text of saying, "I'm okay, take your time on this hunt," I was like, I'm locked in now, trying to find this big ram.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then that wind was just a nightmare, man. Like
Yeah,
25
wind all day.
all day that day. So the rest of day 3, all of day 4, and into day 5. And so from that ram, when we left that ram, we didn't see another sheep or deer even until we saw the one that I ended up killing. So we went the rest of day 3, all of day 4, and the morning of day 5 until we saw another sheep.
Wow.
The wind
so-
just affects them that much over there. Huh? They just don't like moving around. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously hard for you to
Yeah.
glass too.
Desert
long
sheep
distance.
don't like the wind.
Yeah.
Nothing likes the wind, man.
Yeah.
Especially
I don't like
desert
the wind.
sheep.
I don't know of an animal that likes the wind. Muleys hate it. Elk hate it. Nothing likes it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember we,
Ducks like it.
Maybe if you're like
Ducks like it.
Hey,
Ducks do like it.
guys that fly kites.
They like it too.
oh yeah. Right.
Wind sailors.
Yeah, like the morning of day 4, we hiked up to this spot and the wind was whipping so bad. Like you couldn't glass, you couldn't get a stable spot. There was no getting out of the wind because it was hitting every angle of this spot. And we were like standing on the top and we were doing the Titanic. Like,
Standing into the wind.
yeah, leaning into the wind. And it was just like, this is dumb. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like nothing's moving. We're just wasting our time right here. So we actually got in the side-by-side and went back to our base camp. It's like a 2-hour drive. It's like 30 miles around this road back to base camp. And we went and we made bacon burritos,
Nice.
bacon and egg burritos, and refueled. Got some more gas and stuff like that, more water, more food. So we're like,
Silver
okay,
bullets.
yeah, a couple, you know, yeah. And so we refueled, and we're like, okay, good thing we refueled today because now we can spend another 4 days before we have to refuel again. So then we're like lengthening our time. So we took advantage of the wind by being able to like reset, refuel,
Yeah.
get
I always say the
a
smartest thing to
a
do.
regular meal instead of just like wasting our time looking into a shaky glass trying to find something that's probably not up and moving. So
Yeah. Use
Smart
the,
decision.
Use the weather to move.
yeah, so
Smart decision.
that was day 4 in a nutshell. We got crushed by wind. So
Bacon and egg burritos. It's a great day for.
yeah, it was great. I mean, you get a good meal in and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go hunt
Feel
another 4
brand,
days.
feel brand new.
Yeah. Use the Clean Freak wet wipes, like body wipes, to get all the dust off you. Because when you're driving a side by side, everything's dusty.
Little hooker bath.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Little
Exactly.
wipes.
It's
Little
all
hooker
it is.
bath.
I remember one time coming back from an elk hunt and I stopped at a bathroom in Farmington, New Mexico in the middle of the night. Round the corner into the restroom, here's a guy in tidy whities taking a full on bath.
Full bath.
In
Kinda
the,
like-
in the rash.
Kind
in
of
the
like
restroom.
the guy in Rome that I met.
Yeah, he's got the sinks stopped up, both of them, water to the top, and he is bathing with the one and sprinkling with the other one. I was like, high five, man.
It's actually pretty smart, honestly. Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
He had a system. He had to figure it out.
He'd done it before,
yeah,
guaranteed.
for sure.
Yeah, and he did not bat an eyelash. He had shaving cream all over his face. I mean, this guy was doing the full thing. I was just like, oh, this guy's done
The
this
trucker?
before. Yeah, trucker. I'm
Yeah.
sure it was trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't care one bit that I was there. Anyway,
The dual system sinks.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty smart.
yeah.
Could you wash your hands? Or you have to use the same water.
I skipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt his
You're like, hey
system.
man, can I borrow some water?
Nope, just hey, good on you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he takes it to day 5.
Yep. Yeah. So morning of day 5 and it's still super windy. And we're getting to this spot and we're like, the same spot we were on day 4. Because we were thinking like, there's got to be something up and moving. It's still a little windy. It's probably like 10, 12 miles an hour now, but not 20. So we're like, they've been bedded for a day and a half. Something's got to get up and move. No, nothing. Nothing. Not even a deer. Not a doe moving. Not a, yeah. It was.
Even with the wind
stressful.
Wind quit?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, like if you're up high, you're going to get a wind. But if you're down low, you can get out of it. And we didn't see a thing that morning. And at that point, I'm like, kind of nerve wracking. You haven't seen an animal for 2 days.
And you'd pass some.
And, I'd pass some. And I'm like, shoot, man. Like,
Yeah.
but in the back of my head too, I'm like, it's day 5 out of a 20 day if I wanted it to be hunt. So I'm like, relax a little bit. Like, you know, you still got plenty of time to find a good ram.
Yeah.
And, but you know, again, you're like, I got to get back to my wife and baby. Thanksgiving's in 2 days. Like it's time to make a move a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then you're starting to stress. Like I remember reaching out, I'm like, should I move? Should I stay here? Should I keep doing this? Like we haven't seen anything in this area in 2 days. Do we need to relocate? Like all these things, like trying to figure out what we're going to do. And you're just like, man, I don't know what to do.
I hate that feeling.
And you're sitting there like, I'm
It's a
lost,
really shitty
you know?
feeling. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's early still, technically. I had 10 days and it's halfway through that, but I'm like, I'm lost, man. I don't know where to go.
Thanksgiving
what to
does
do.
add some pressure. First Thanksgiving with a baby too.
Yeah.
Like it adds some pressure. There is something, if you're not Brady Miller, something about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
where
hunting
it's
during
like,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You know, just that pull on your heartstring. I'm like, maybe I should be home with my son for our first Thanksgiving
Right.
together.
Yeah, man. Like,
got 2 days before that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then Nate made the suggestion. He's like, let's move tomorrow. I was like, all right, man, let's move tomorrow. Let's give it a good once through tonight. We'll get a different angle on it. Found another glassing knob and we were sitting on our maps out there and like, okay, this looks like a good knob and it's only a short little walk from here. We ended up bumping a buck that's pretty decent out of that spot, but not anything crazy, but you know, a buck,
huh?
Yeah, a buck, you know.
Okay.
And we were going to this knob and we actually saw the first sheep that we'd seen in 2 days, probably another 3 miles away, just sitting on top of this ridge, like skyline. Like that's the iconic sheep look right there, like just sitting out. You know, he was a really young ram, like class 1 ram. So we talk about classes of sheep, class 2, 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
you
4.
mentioned earlier. I was going to jump on that.
Class 1 is a young ram.
Yeah.
So young ram, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like they're moving, which
Yeah.
is great. Okay, sheep are moving. We see ram. Like obviously, we're not going to go shoot that ram or chase that ram at all, but they're moving. So then we're like, all right, finally, like we've seen an animal. So then we're glassing this one spot, and I'm kind of looking into the sun for the afternoon, which sucks, but you got to
do what you gotta
do it.
Yeah.
And Nate was glassing back the other way, and I remember him going, Ethan, big ram. And he's like that. I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, big ram. I was like, all right, cool. So we get over. I grab my spotter and I go over there. And
You were
I-
that calm about it?
Yeah, I mean,
Ethan's
it had
pretty
been-
calm.
He is pretty calm.
Yeah.
Did you
Unless
also
you're
bring
having
your
a
Did you also
baby.
bring your rifle this time?
I did. But as soon as I got over there, he's like, yeah, it's over there. And he pointed at this ridge. I was like, oh, cool, man. Like, we got like an hour and a half left of daylight and it's way over there. He's like, yeah, but it's big. I was like, all right, cool. And so I threw the spotter up and he was actually with a ewe at that time. So we'd only see the ewe and him bedded. And as soon as I saw him bedded, I was like, oh yeah, let's go chase that ram. Like, let's make this happen.
No brainer.
Yeah. It was like, you see it and you're like, that's big sheep.
Yeah.
Let's go get a better look. Cause at this point I think we were 2,500 yards away. And so we're like, all right, call my dad
If you're
over
Brady,
there.
you only got to cut 1,000 yards off
I
that.
know, right? Like
You only have
a little bit.
You only got like 12 steps between
Yeah.
that when you're Brady.
Yeah.
Just doink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
could
had
leap
called my
over
dad
that.
over because he was glassing in another spot because we spread out around this knob trying to get different area. And he looked at it and he's like, oh yeah, let's go get a better look. So we packed up and we started jump down this ridge and behind another one so we could run. So we were running up this next ridge trying to get a better look. And we knew like if this is going to happen, we got limited daytime to make this work. And we kind of hugged behind this ridge. We'd pop up, see it like, okay, they're still there, pop back down, go around. And we got up and over, snuck up and over this ridge in front of them. And now at this point, we're like 1,200. And so, okay, we set up the spotter again and just to verify. And as soon as I put the spotter up, I found a ram in that area. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Like, it's not worth it. It was a small ram. And like, oh, well, that was fun. Good to see a sheep. And we're like, he looked way bigger from further away. Like we couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden he popped out. We're like, oh, we didn't know there was another ram here. Yeah. And so he popped out and we're like, oh yeah, okay, we're shooting this ram. And now I'm getting all giddy. I'm like, dude, we're going to do it today, you know? And so then we hiked down into this wash, and I'm pretty sure my dad like tore his MCL coming down this thing because we're trying to rush. And, you know, he's freaking tough as nails. So he's like, hey, just go. Like, he's like, you guys need to go. Like, I'll be there.
Yeah.
But you guys need to go. You move faster. And so me and Nate get down to this wash, and I'm running with, gun in one hand, and I think I had the tripod in the other. It's such a blur now. I'm running through this wash because when you get down low, they can't see you down there, which is great. And we got up and we popped up. We're like, okay, now we're at 800 yards, and he's still there. And we actually thought we had kicked him because they got up and started moving, but we realized he was running off that little ram. And so we're like,
had a doe pin or a U pinned up.
Yeah, so that U must have just had like a second cycle or something like that. Yep. And we're like, okay, so he's kind of running off that little ram a little bit, which is great because they're not focused on us at all. And we're 800 yards, sound travels that far for sure if we do something dumb, right? Yeah. And like, okay, I think we can get to that spot where, we can actually shoot from there, like get prone and, look up into this canyon and make a shot. And we're like, all right, we can kind of shimmy our way over there, and it's last light. And it's like, if this is going to happen, we need to go right now. So we didn't have time to set up a digiscope. I'm getting the rifle set up and everything. And I got the Phoenix shooting bags, that little small rear rest, which is phenomenal. Popped out the bipod, started getting a range. And I turn around and Nate's already got the camera set up. He's like on it. And I was like, damn, dude, that was quick. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go, man. You ready? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And my dad comes walking out. He's like, you guys ready to go? I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And since we didn't have time to get a spotter set up, I tossed him the SIG Zulu 6s. Yeah. And another use case I don't think we've ever talked about as a use case for those binos, but he was able to call my shots because they were so stabilized.
Brady just talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Just brought it up.
Just to get right before you. But that's a great use case. I never thought of it either before until that situation.
Until you're like, wow, you don't have time to set up a tripod to digiscope to film your shot, but you have someone there that can call your shot for you.
When you jump a little bit on the gun crack, it doesn't matter. You can still see
you're right
everything.
there. Yeah. And so he was watching, the shot, and I was like, I got in the scope. I felt good. It's like prone as you were at the range. So I was like, this is perfect.
How far was the shot?
730. Yeah. So I've been practicing it almost 900 pretty repeatedly and making great shots out there. So
I'll attest to that.
I was pretty confident that like this was going to happen. And, I think having confidence in your setup,
it's everything.
Oh, it's
regardless if it's a bow or your rifle, like I knew at that point, I was like, I can make the shot. This is a done deal. And so dialed my turret and took a shot, and I missed, a clean miss. And
front, left, right,
couldn't see it.
Nothing.
We had no idea. We go back and watch the film, and you can't even see it in the film where it was. And my dad's like, miss, I have no idea where you hit. And so I didn't make any adjustments. And after that first shot, all the sheep kind of piled up. And when you're watching the video, it looks like the U is standing behind him when I shot. But like the camera's here, I'm over here.
Yeah,
so in my scope, I'm like,
totally clear.
Clean kill, right?
Yeah.
And so I took my second shot, and he folded up. And I saw him in my scope drop down. You see him in the video. Just, I think I hit high. I definitely hit high because it shocked his spine. But you just see him drop and start rolling down the hill, and then he's kind of laying there and trying to get up. And I'm like, he's trying to get up. I'm going to shoot again. So I took a third shot, and you hear it crack on a rock. I had missed again. I think I was just all like butterflies, dude. Because I took the shot. I saw him tumble. I thought it was over, and I rolled over. I was like,
oh, yeah, you let it go.
Like that big sigh. I was like, we did it. It's over. Like there's a sheep down. And my dad goes, he's trying to get up. I rolled back on the gun.
Yeah.
Took that third shot, and he didn't need it. He was going down. And it was the angle was so steep that it hit lung on the inside and went out the back strap on the other side. And that was it, man.
How you feeling now then? Like you just
at that point, I was like,
best thing ever.
Yeah. I was on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe everything, like you think about from the moment you realize you drew the tag, all the work you put in scouting, e-scouting, trying to figure out, like, you think about like the 110-degree days when you're out there, like, why am I here? I got a pregnant wife at home. I'm out here like scouting for not seeing anything. And you're like, it's over. And
That's
you're
why
like,
you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. Yeah. I'm not even at the sheep at this point. I'm like, man, we did it. Like, one of those things you can't believe, right? You're just like, this once in a lifetime opportunity is now over. And I couldn't feel better about it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty special in that spot.
And with your dad too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was,
Pictures I saw looked like his face were all full of cactus.
he fell through a cholla.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he ended up falling probably like 40 yards. And yeah, fell through a cholla. His whole body was covered in cholla, which made caping it a little
interesting.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he had cholla all on the side of his face. And I remember walking up to him and being like, oh my gosh, like, that's a big sheep, you know? And I'm like, I didn't think he was that big. And like just the scars on his face, the chips out of that one side of that horn.
He's a lot chipped, yeah.
And like
Got a lot of
the
character.
character on it. I was like,
character. Yeah. That's the coolest part
you
about
could
him.
tell he was old. And I was like, that's what I came to do. I came to shoot an old sheep. And seeing him, and it was dark by the time we got to him too. And like seeing him, you're like, wow, that's what we came to do. And we did it.
Yeah.
And you're just standing over that. Like you told me, you're like, when you walk up to that sheep, you're like, you'll never be like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
the feeling.
such a weird
You're
feeling.
like,
it's such a weird feeling because, yeah, you do it, right? Like you draw the tag. My excitement level when I drew the tag too in New Mexico. New Mexico is completely random. No points, no nothing. I don't even know what my odds were to draw that tag in 2013 or whenever I drew it. It's like you get that moment and then you do all the e-scouting, calling biologists, all the preparation, all this stuff. Then you get there. I got there 2 days early before the hunt to scout all this stuff. Turned my ram up the second day. Couldn't kill him. Turn him back up the third day after losing the rams for all. Anyways, you kill the ram, and it's like you walk up to him. And most other animals, you kill them, and it's like super celebratory, right?
Yeah.
Antelope, elk, deer, all this stuff. With sheep, it is a weird, like somber, like almost.
Yeah.
Not to be weird, but like I almost got sad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just not the same feeling.
No,
I kind of have a sad feeling of like, okay, well, that came and is gone.
The weirdest thing too
Never
is that
again, you
the
know?
other two sheep like hung around. Even when we got up to him, we could hear him kicking rocks above us.
Yeah.
We're like, "Did we just kill their dad?"
Yeah.
Like,
You know,
are
you
these
killed-
like their
you killed
No,
the
kids, man? Like, what's
the-
going on here?
The leader. So my dad, I was doll hunting with my dad in Northwest Territories, a 2-on-1. There was a cancellation hunt. I went with my dad. I don't know if I ever told this story, but my dad killed the ram, the lead ram out of the band. There was a band of 8. And then I killed a ram, ran off, and it was the one we hadn't seen. I ended up killing that ram. So we have 2 sheep, but my dad's was the leader of the band. There was 8 sheep total. We just killed 2, so 6 sheep. They were circled up around my dad's ram. We literally walked to 20 yards. I'm not kidding.
And
I have
they
a picture.
They stared at you.
And we're hooting and hollering, right? Two
Yeah.
dolls, a 2-on-1 hunt. You go, you shoot a double on a band of rams. It was awesome. They literally let us get 20 yards. I'm not kidding. I have a picture of my dad walking in that ram. The next biggest ram is standing right there.
Really?
It's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
They don't like to leave the leader or
yeah.
whatever.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It is
it was,
weird.
yeah, man, it was, I remember staring at that thing. And of course, we killed him on the steepest slope we'd ever been on. Even that one, like the first night where we took the shortcut, this was worse.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we're like, we're huffing and puffing getting up there, and we just sit down and we're like staring at this thing. And, my dad sits down next to me. He's like, you did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a hell of a month, man. I'm like, yeah,
That is
a hell of a
month.
year, like.
Did you have that sad feeling though?
Yeah,
what I'm talking about
for
It's
sure.
Weird. So I don't know. It's hard
I
to
think there's
explain.
pictures of me like sitting there, like just looking at the front
Yeah.
of them, and you're just like, wow, like
Yeah. Like bittersweet is a word, but it doesn't, it's not full of, there's more sadness than a typical like bittersweet
Yeah.
moment. For at least there was
Yeah.
for me.
yeah, it's something like I don't think I was fully processing it that it was
Yeah.
over either. Like it's done. You're standing over a sheep. You killed a great sheep. Like I was just like, wow. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't fully like, didn't hit me yet. You know what I mean? So I was kind of soaking it in. I don't really know how to describe it. It's a weird.
Did you get with that with your Tajikistan ram?
I literally like almost blacked out in a way because like I'm big on photos. I love photos. I'm there. I was gonna take video on my phone and everything. I barely got any harvest photos of my ram, Not any photos also of just details of the horns on the ground, the body. I usually do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of blacked out.
It's different.
Because I'm just you're soaking up the moment, but you don't realize you're soaking up the moment. You just think you're doing something normal, but you just forget everything else you've done before because of that, like you said, the somber feeling of what just happened. You're trying to soak it up.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing my photos that I love to do to document it. Like,
It's like
I just blanked out.
you're soaking up the moment, but at the same time, you're like, that's not happening again.
No, never
Like,
happened again in
and
my
it's
life.
such a weird, like I enjoyed that so much. I just got a taste of it.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'll never get it again.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Just fleeting because, it's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You're literally never going to get that opportunity again.
It is a wild feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too what made it cool is like my dad will never draw that tag. He's not close to the max point. Like he's been putting in for a while, but he'll never draw that tag. That's his dream hunt.
Yeah.
And he got to do that with me. And that was like it all just was there. All the feels you could imagine were just there. You're
And
like,
I can tell you what.
video.
And that's so
and
I was
now
gonna,
it's on video.
I was going to bring that point up too because you were talking about cameramen. I'll start with that point first, but hunting with a cameraman, like you said, one time a cameraman actually helps you out. It does.
Which is a total joke. Just kidding.
Well, they do.
I was joking, but
They change dynamic though, right?
Yeah.
It's different.
For
It's
sure.
very different. It's another person, another attitude, another what do you want to call opinion in the mix, another everything, right?
Yeah,
we
for sure.
love the guys we hunt with, so why not talk to them and listen to them?
Yeah.
But they just adds another level of it's not so much complexity, but like another layer to what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Now, on a sheep hunt though, with your dad, you do have that now forever to show
Forever.
your son.
Yeah. And like the
His,
photos
he'll be able to
took.
see his grandpa
Yeah.
with you.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. It's
I
really
couldn't be
cool.
more grateful.
That's
to
the
have
awesome
a camera
part about
guy
the
there.
film.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are some phenomenal sheep photos, by the way. Like really good.
did a
photos.
really
even
good job.
even the dark ones, like at night and everything. Like,
He did a really good job.
great.
Yeah, I have
photos.
cell phone pictures of my sheep because I didn't
really?
bring a cameraman, so
Yeah.
I'm jealous of
Are
that.
they selfie?
Yeah. Well, I had Vince was
Yeah, I know, I'm
taking
kidding.
pictures, tried to prop him up on a rock as best we could.
Yeah.
But the other side of that too is like your dad. You're really close with your dad.
Yeah.
And having sons, and I'm sure you could probably relate the same way here. And I don't know if your son's old enough now, but man, if I would rather watch my son do it, even if it was
I'm
my
sure.
dream hunt.
Yeah.
I would actually rather, and my son's only 4 years old. My other one's only 4 weeks old.
Yeah.
But like I already know if it was a dream hunt for me, I would rather watch them do my dream hunt than me actually do it myself.
I'm sure he'd totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the best of all worlds
Yeah.
for your dad.
Oh yeah.
You got to go on the hunt.
Yeah.
But you got to
Yeah.
watch his son do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So you pack it out, you get it out. What's the check-in process like after that?
It's cool. So like when I went down to that hunter's clinic, Game and Fish is there,
yeah.
and they give you this packet, and it's the flu,
Yep.
the flu
Swab.
test, the swab. And so they give you that swab, and they're like, hey, if you can do the field thing, great. Like
Yeah.
that's super helpful. But it's mandatory check-in anyway, and so they're gonna do it when you get there anyway. But they give you the kit, so I nasal swabbed them, packed them out. They write down the coordinates and everything like that. And so we go to Game and Fish down in Yuma, and they were super cool. I remember calling them, and they're like, who are you, what unit, what tag, and you tell them all the info so they can kind of prep for you. And I remember calling them, and the lady was like, oh, the COFAs, nice. I was like, wow, yeah, it is nice, And but yeah, you get there and you meet the biologist. You kind of drive around back and you just pull them out. And you put them on the table and they get to work. And
Were they cool? Were they,
super
they're
cool.
Into hunting?
Oh, yeah.
Not
Like,
like
That's one of the funnest
Yeah.
fishing game encounters there is on planet
Oh, yeah.
Earth is to bring in a sheep.
And
to
then
them.
I could ask all the
they're all
questions
so
I
cool
wanted.
about it.
Like,
Yeah, when I worked at Game and Fish, I plugged a lot of sheep, and they'd come in. Everybody would go up
It's
and look
so
at
fun.
them. It was
Yeah.
it was like it was a little afternoon treat when somebody
Yeah,
would
it's like
bring
a
in a sheep.
campfire story, but
Yeah, you hear the whole story.
Yeah.
They talk that all the hunters are super excited.
Yeah.
You get to
I have
measure.
all kinds
and-
of pictures of my check-in in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most enjoyable things. Was
Yeah.
like, what happened? Like,
Yeah.
how was it? Did you have a good hunt?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
They're
you're the
all
guy that
about
called
it.
that biologist.
Yeah, they're super cool. And the biologist I had, he was super knowledgeable because I was asking him like, so my sheep, you can see under that horn that's broke, he's got a real soft spot. It almost looks like a scar. And I was asking him about it. I was like, it's soft though. Is that scar tissue? And he's like, no, that's early signs of that sinusitis.
Sinusitis, yeah.
Yeah, I can't ever say it right, but He's like,
I don't
that's
even
why
know if I
that
said it right.
that horn is so broke, because he's trying to rub that horn off, and that's how you get
itchy.
those
Yeah.
one horn rams. And so he had early signs of that, and he's like, yeah, man, you killed an old sheep. Like, this is what you're supposed to do, you know?
How old is your sheep?
He was 8. Yeah, so he
For
aged him at
deserts.
8 years old, and the cool thing is they tape it there for you. And so I hadn't put it on tape on him yet, and like I had my thoughts. I was like, yeah, like I killed him. I knew he was old. I didn't think he was going to be the score that he ended up getting because of that chip. I was like, yeah, he's going to drop it. Like, I don't care. Yeah, like he's old. He's got character. Like, this is great. And they put a tape on him, man, and he scored much better than I thought.
It's awesome.
So
Yeah, he looks heavy.
Can we say a
yeah,
score?
yeah, 165 and 7/8.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
That's 166. You can't 7/8 an animal. That's, that's criminal.
yeah.
I can
So,
get an eighth of an inch. Out of that
come
thing.
yeah, right. Yeah, when Calvin's done with him and the Euro,
Yeah.
we'll tape him again when we get him back here.
Well, this
But-
is the
So
other.
you didn't cut his horns off?
No, I didn't
you're going to do a... Are you
Yeah.
doing Euro? You're going to do a cape him
I'm
out?
gonna do a pedestal.
You're going to pass them
Yeah,
out?
so we caped him for shoulder and packed that out, and I was gonna get there, and the other thing I didn't realize is how thin their hide is.
Yeah, they're
And
thin.
so like I poked a hole under the throat there, and I just after that I was like, I don't really know. I think I'm just gonna keep him cold and then take him straight up to Calvin up in Utah, and so that's what I did. I brought him to that, and they were super cool. And
Did you know going into it you're going to mount it?
I knew I wanted to do a shoulder mount. And then it was when I was talking to Calvin, because he was actually in town for Thanksgiving. And so he came by the house that morning of Thanksgiving. Great taxidermist, right? He comes by your house and he's willing to take the hide off
He's
the face
amazing.
for you. And he was telling me, he's like, you can always take a pedestal mount to a shoulder, like a wall mount, but you can never go from a wall mount to a pedestal. And I thought that I might want to do a pedestal on it one day, because it's once in a lifetime tag, like once in a lifetime mount. And so I was like, all right, cool, man, we'll do a pedestal then.
yeah.
And
Is it crazy how heavy their heads are?
it's wild.
That's one of the most bizarre
You compare
things.
it to the amount of meat you get off that body, because there's
Dude,
not.
they're
they're not that
they're
big.
90% head.
Yeah,
they're all like
they're all
crazy.
head.
Guts and head. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
even the meat you get off of it, it's like the amount of a coos deer.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than a coos deer, but like
They're pretty skinny.
Yeah.
Real skinny.
and then
Yeah.
the head is just it's heavy. I mean,
Yeah.
Massive.
30, 40
and
pounds.
they're legit heavy. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
pick those things up, you're like, how in the world is this thing carrying these around?
Yeah.
strong neck.
Yeah.
The other thing about their cape too is not only are they thin skinned, they're short haired too.
Yeah.
So like any little mistake in there doesn't look
Well,
real
and
good.
when he fell too, he like clipped the back of his neck, and he's got a big old gash in the back of his neck. Like
Yeah.
he fell hard, which was good, but
Yeah.
you know, but he was like, oh man, I can sew that. I was like, thanks,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it.
It's a good taxidermist.
yeah. Yeah.
How's the meat tasting?
Pretty good.
Try some already?
I did a little backstrap on Thanksgiving, and I actually got to get our grinder and grind it up this weekend is my plan. But
Yep.
the backstrap was pretty good.
You're gonna grind the back straps and loins like Brady does.
I was going to just ask, Brady,
But
if you,
take the
if
heart
you, if
and
you
the
killed
liver
a
and-
sheep, would you
No.
grind the whole thing?
Well, all he eats is burger.
I'm
so.
just
I mean,
asking.
I love me some burgers and some
just
sticks.
floating it.
Why not,
Just the
man?
idea.
Yeah.
Why not? Maybe take one back strap and I'd eat it in camp and then maybe grind the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have all the backstraps staked out, and then I'll grind the rest and make burger and sausage and stuff.
I loved the meat. I thought it was great.
It's like
Thought it
it's
was
almost
amazing.
kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
why-
taste I got out of it.
I would agree. Yeah. I thought it was really good. I went through it so fast. Though.
I didn't
mean, there's
expect it
nothing
to
on
be that good. Like all they eat is cactus. You know,
Cactus is kind of sweet.
it's
though.
kind of yeah. You're right.
Right? Like,
I've had some cactus jelly. It's pretty
yeah,
great.
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they tasted really good, but
Yeah.
just like you said, the
And
amount of meat.
How
is
often
not
do you get
very
to
much.
taste a bighorn sheep?
Yeah.
Not very, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one
Not-
of those things
not
like you
ever.
don't get to hunt, you don't really get to taste either. You
Yeah.
know? So no one really knows what they taste like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to just hear it from, the horse's mouth, if you will, because I was curious in what it's like to actually hunt sheep. I would say,
It's hard.
yeah. I mean,
Hard,
it's supposed to
but
be,
fun.
I think,
It is
right?
supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it lived up to everything that I hoped it would be for
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for me hearing it. So I appreciate you coming on and
Yeah,
talking
man,
about
thanks
it.
thanks for having me on here. I don't know how long we've been here for, but it feels like a while.
2 hours.
Damn.
Glad we could do it again. I
Time
can't-
flies.
It might have been a year ago to date. Around then, we did a podcast. You and Cody Nelson.
Yeah. Talking a little. I think we were talking rangefinders.
Rangefinder, some
Yeah.
optic stuff. But yeah, I mean, like you said though, sheep hunting should be kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean,
makes that story, you're going to remember it a lot more.
it
Like,
wouldn't be
it's-
fun if it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Share it with your dad.
Yeah.
It's on
The,
video.
the enjoyable part for me, it is hard, but there's no people. It's not hard because of other people overrunning you. We
Yeah.
all know the, local yokel pumpkin patch, like overrun with people story is what makes hunting hard. That's not enjoyable no matter how you look at it.
No.
But when it's hard because just the animal and where they live,
Yeah.
that's fun.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fun.
yeah.
Do we
It's-
know when we might expect this Go Hunt film to come out?
I heard a rumor about Father's Day,
Oh, that'd be a good
It's a
one.
great idea.
Oh,
which I think Max was telling
Why
me
not?
that.
It's a great idea.
So-
great idea.
I think that would be a good fit for
Yeah.
a new grandfather, new father kind of thing.
Have you?
fit.
So this is your first filmed hunt.
Yeah.
Just really quick, I want to jump on that.
Yeah.
Like every time I have a filmed hunt, I'm itching to watch it. Are you like itching right now?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You just want to
Oh,
first
yeah.
cut. Like you just want to see it
And
so
like
bad.
even talking about it today, there's like stuff that you forget.
Yeah.
And you're like, until you start really talking about it. But I'm sure there's stuff I missed today.
Oh, I'm
that,
sure,
that
yeah.
happened
That's
that
how it
ain't
goes.
got on film, and you're like, oh, dude, I totally forgot about that.
Like I started looking back at those films, you realize like, dude, the camera guys are rolling all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like they capture so much stuff that you
Yeah.
totally forgot about.
Yeah.
But my experience with it, I've done it a fair amount now. You've been on more than me, but it still doesn't capture all of it.
No, I
You
wish
know,
they were
so
like
don't,
3
like,
hours
You have to
long.
do like a hour-long thing to
Don't
really
don't think it's gonna be everything you remembered, because I mean, yeah, they can
It's
roll
not.
all the
Yeah.
time, but it's never.
Yeah.
You can never, those internal moments that you have with yourself and all that stuff. You can never grab
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
For
weird
sure.
looking at it from a different perspective as well.
Yeah,
It's,
it's disconnected from it.
yeah, it's like looking at it third person. It's
Yeah.
it's a bizarre feeling.
I agree.
For me, it always
Completely
is
agree.
anyway. Yeah.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Cool. You want to hit promo before we go?
Yes,
We're supposed to do that in the beginning.
I know.
we're supposed to.
I just realized that.
but like I,
No, you have to listen to the whole thing to get the promo.
yes,
you
this
know?
is going to be the best part, you know,
Yeah.
because we're going to give you guys a kickback.
Yeah.
So you guys got to use promo code podcast and get you 50 points back to the Go Hunt Gear Shop. So
Isn't this episode number 100? Are we giving
no,
Nope,
no.
not yet.
Oh gosh,
Don't get it twisted,
Don't
Cody.
get it
We're
twisted.
close to 100 though.
Close.
We're,
We're close.
we're drawn in.
So yeah, like this whole thing, like obviously you did your research. You
Yeah.
talked about that at the beginning. You did your time, read some app strategies, figured out how the tag system worked. And that's what Insider's going to allow you to do.
Oh,
So
yeah. Pretty much everything I learned was
Utilize
from
all
our
those tools
system.
we have. We have them there for a reason to help people out to try to get tags, whether it's sheep tags, antelope, cow, elk, whatever you want to do. So if you guys need yourself an Insider membership done, Insider ready, promo code podcast, 50 points back to the Go Hunt Gear Shop. And app season's here. So best time of year to have a membership. Do your research. You could be lucky.
You can be lucky, man.
There's some luck involved as well, but the research, you definitely need to do your research as well.
Oh yeah.
If you don't apply, you don't draw.
Yep.
Yeah, I got lucky too. And that's 2 out of 4. That's 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's 10 years apart, but hey.
I'd say considering sheep, it's pretty amazing actually.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Him
pretty
and
impressive.
I both.
Pretty
Yeah.
damn cool.
I did it before I was 30. You did it before you were 30.
Yeah.
Both drawn. Both well, your lifetime residency, but
Non-resident tag though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm non-resident. Like, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So my only last question is, since you were only allowed to, or you did it because of the baby, only apply for one animal this year, you can apply for everything this year now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've already got an OTC tag for
Oh.
Arizona, so I'm planning August.
Did you get a
that.
heavy tag too?
I did. I have a January. I'm going in January. I'm going to try to do that OTC thing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work out. I've got August for that one.
Yeah.
And then I did get into the Idaho pool already.
You got an Idaho tag?
I did get an Idaho tag.
What?
I did.
You kept that under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm planning to have a pretty active year next year.
Sounds
So,
like it. I don't
yeah.
even have a tag yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Man, I'm jealous. Hashtag jelly.
Cool. Well, thanks, Ethan. We
Thank
appreciate
you
you
guys.
coming on.
Yeah.
man.
Congrats again,
it was
man.
fun. Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate it.
we'll peace out until next time.
Sounds good.